Here. So many great interviews lined up for you, from educational interviews to events happening right here in the 901. We're kicking things off with a live interview at 8:30. This week is Folic Acid Awareness Week. So we're going to bring in a doctor who's going to break down what this week means, what you should know about this Awareness Week for folic acid. Again, that live interview is coming up at 8:30. Can you dance, or do you have two left feet? What does that look like? Well, no worries. We will teach you, or at least I won't. The person we're bringing in will teach you, because the Orpheum is having a free community dance workshop. That live interview is scheduled for 9:30 this morning, so you definitely want to stick around for that. So again, that's just two of the great interviews we have right here on the Action News 5 digital desk. Remember, we go from 7 to 11 each and every day. And of course, we're going to keep you in the know about your forecast. First Alert meteorologist Patrick Ellis will have your forecast for you in just a few. We're going to take a 60-second break, and when we come back, we're going to get things rolling on the Action News 5 digital desk. Stay with us. All right, guys, go ahead and mark your calendar. We are looking ahead today to September 25th. That is Sunset at Bridges, a really great family-friendly event bringing out some local artists. Of course, we're talking Hope Claiborne and the Soul Scrimmage Band. They will be there as well, the whole nine. We are bringing in one of our good friends, the CEO of Bridges, Sam O'Brien, to tell us all about this special event. Good morning to you, Sam.
Good morning. Thanks for having me.
No, we're so glad to have you on the Action News 5 digital desk. So go ahead and break it down for us. Sunset at Bridges. Tell us more about this event.
Think about it as a big community block party, right? So September 25th, we're inviting everyone to come to Bridges, come hang out in our amphitheater. We're located in the downtown, uptown area of Memphis, right across the street from St. Jude. We want people to come out to this free event, enjoy entertainment. Like you said, we're going to have Hope Claiborne's Soul Scrimmage. We'll be doing a live performance. You know, they're fresh off of 901 Day, where I think they were very well received. We're also going to have DJ Mary the K. To you know, she's going to be on the ones and twos, you know, spinning some tunes for us while we're out there as well. But you know, what we're looking at is a way to bring everyone out to come see the majesty of Bridges, learn more about the organization, learn more about the programs that we offer, and again, just participate in what could just easily be a lovely afternoon.
When you say a community block party, you know, the entire Memphis, that's our lingo there. So many people are looking forward to that. A big thing that you mentioned was one of the reasons for this event is to bring awareness and for people to know about the work that you guys do at Bridges. Can you kind of talk us through some of the programs that you guys have and your overall mission?
Sure. So the mission of the mission of Bridges is to unite and inspire diverse young people. We want them to become confident and courageous leaders that are committed to community change and transformation. What Bridges does, we have three pillar programs. The first is Bridge Builders, which is our summer conference. A lot of people are familiar with that because during the summer we invite over 800 young people to our facility and to the University of Memphis to learn more about themselves, learn more about Memphis and how those two things come together for community change. We also have our youth advisory councils, which is comprised of different leadership groups that talk about youth policy, public policy, and ways to communicate change through governmental channels. And last but not least, we have Team Bridges, which is our adult learning component, where this is when you bring your group out, your office or your immediate team, and you engage in these team building activities. And so you come in as co-workers, but you leave as a team, because again, we go through this process where we learn more about each other, learn more about our limits, and learn about how we bring those things together for again, just better outcomes as a team.
And when you talk about better outcomes, Sam, why don't you talk about, just the impact that you've seen firsthand that Bridges has had on, some of the students who have been through the program or even some of the adults?
I think one of the better ways to explain it is anytime I run into a bridge builder, I'm wearing the Bridges shirt today. So if I'm wearing this shirt out in public, I come across someone who's an alum of the program. I ask them how they're doing, and they tell me they are usually connected to purpose-driven work. And so this means they're likely working for a nonprofit. They're likely working for a government agency or a local government, or they may be working within corporate social responsibility. And they always come back and they say that what I found at Bridges, that foundational learning at Bridges, it inspires the work that I do now. So when I think about the work that we do, when I think about the messages that we impart, it often leads toward young people walking into a purpose-driven career. Again, nonprofit spaces, local spaces, corporate social responsibility. That's likely where you're going to find a lot of our alums.
I know that puts a smile on your face when you can hear from alums and they tell you the influence Bridges has had on their life. That's beautiful to hear. All right, so let's get people to Sunset at Bridges. We know that this is a free event. This is happening Thursday, right? September 25th. What are the other logistics
Yes.
people need to know?
So we're blessed. So we have free parking. So we have a lot that is across the street from our facility, and we have a parking deck. I want to say altogether that's about 140 parking spots. But again, you'll have people that'll be parking on the street. So there's 4th Street and 5th Street, which where our building is located. They'll be parking up and down those two streets. Like you said, logistically, September 25th. We're kicking everything off at 5:30. Again, the event is free, but we're also going to have food trucks. If you wish to, purchase from any one of those. And for our alums that are going to be present, we're going to have Bridges merchandise. So if you want to come away with a Bridges hat or a Bridges shirt, please come see us about that. And one thing I do want to add. Our rock climbing wall will be open. So if you want to get in there, get tied in and with a carabiner and a couple of ropes and loops, please, we'll
Yeah.
be there. We'll have staff on site to help you all the way up and help you all the way down.
Sam, it sounds like we have it all at the block party. We have the live music, we have the food trucks, and if you want to get active and do some rock climbing, you can do that as well. Something
There you
for
go.
the entire family. All right, Sunset at Bridges, that's Thursday, September 25th. A free event, so go ahead and mark your calendar to participate in that. Again, Sam Bryant, the CEO of Bridges, thank you so much for stopping by the Action News 5 Digital Desk. This morning, we are talking about the life and legacy of Medgar Evers. I know that name rings to your ears. We are talking about his contributions to not only Mississippi, but across the world here. And I'm bringing in one of our friends. I'm going to go ahead and put up a 2-box here. We have Taiwo Gaynor. He's a producer and director of the film because the Mississippi Public Broadcasting will premiere the original documentary, Everlasting Life and Legacy of Medgar Evers. And of course, Taiwo is here to break that all down for us. Good morning to you.
Hi, good morning. Thank you for having me.
No, thank you so much for joining us on the Action News 5 digital desk. As a proud Mississippi native, I've been looking forward to this interview. So let's talk about what people can expect. The big event is tomorrow, that's September 18th, where you guys will premiere the original documentary. What can people expect?
Well, it is a 2-hour documentary. We are coining this as the official legacy documentary from Medgar Evers. There really hasn't been a documentary of this nature for Medgar Evers, unfortunately. He is one of Mississippi's biggest civil rights heroes. So on Thursday, we will be premiering this for the country for the first time. I mean, it will broadcast on Mississippi Public Broadcasting, so that is our statewide PBS affiliate. So it will broadcast statewide in Mississippi, but it will also be available nationally on the PBS platform. So if you are in Montana or New York or California and you go to your PBS app or go to the PBS website or go to our website, mpbonline.org, you will also be able to watch the 2-hour documentary as we premiere it.
Taiwo, as you just mentioned, this is a 2-hour documentary telling a story. What do you think, what do you want the audience to resonate with when we tell the story of Medgar Evers?
Well, for us to understand the life of Medgar Evers, I mean, Medgar Evers is one of the biggest unsung heroes, I think, of the civil rights movement. I mean, one of our guests, Joan Tromper Mulholland, she effectively says, you think of Medgar Evers, he's missing from history. I mean, you know Martin Luther King, you know Malcolm X, but Medgar Evers is one of those 3 M's. He is the first of those 3 civil rights leaders to be assassinated. And so this is about putting his life in perspective, establishing his legacy, but also allowing the audience to understand who he was, but how important he was to the civil rights movement. And then ultimately for the viewer to see themselves in his story, because our footing is, while it's a historical documentary, this is also a family story. First, we tell it from the perspective of the family. And so his wife, Myrlie Evers, is one of the prominent figures inside of the documentary. His daughter, Rena Evers Everett, is also a major part of it. And a lot of the people that we speak to in the documentary are people who actually worked with Medgar Evers, who are his family members, or people who are deeply connected to the history. And so there aren't, people, there's not a lot of secondhand account. A lot of this is first-hand account, which makes it very special.
Yeah, this special indeed. As the producer and director of this film, walk us, or take us, I should say, behind the scenes, like when you are putting together a story that is so special, that really just displays the legacy of Medgar Evers, but also, the tragedy and how we lost him. Walk us through how you were really able to capture and be able to put that together and tell his story.
Well, what first happens is, with a story like this and a documentary like this is intense research, making sure that we understand the full context of the story, that we have the facts accurate. We brought on a couple of historians. Pamela Jr. is our content producer for the documentary. Pamela Jr. is one of the original directors of the 2 Mississippi Museums. She worked at the Smith Robertson Museum before that, and she curated the first Medgar Evers exhibit in the nation. And so she was deeply connected to Medgar Evers' story already. So bringing on people like that was very important, making sure that we were able to frame this story correctly, accurately, and importantly because Medgar Evers' family is still with us. This is not a kind of distant memory of a person. His family members are still alive. His wife, a widow, Myrlie Evers, is still alive. So it was important that we got perspective from the family, that we received buy-in from the family, that they were a part of the fact checking, that we were making sure that we were getting the information correct, and we were making sure that we were getting those intimate stories. And so that was the important part of it, was making sure that we got it right, because we only get one shot to get it right.
I love how you put that. You wanted to get it right and tell Medgar Evers' story. Again, I'm putting that footage up for you this morning for everyone to see and get a taste of what this documentary will be like. Of course, it will broadcast the life and legacy of Medgar Evers, a huge influence and a pivotal civil rights figure in Mississippi, a story worth telling. Taiwo, before we let you go this morning, was there anything else you want to share that we did not ask you today?
No, I just want to encourage people to take it in. There is a lot of, it's intense information. It is, we try to weave in different stories and let it ebb and flow with the story arc. But there are difficult parts to the story, but there are also very beautiful parts of the story that talk about the resilience of family, getting over difficult times, how Myrlie Evers, who is one of the centerpieces of this story, is the reason that we have Medgar Evers' legacy. She brings his legacy forward. And to see the resilience of Myrlie Evers, who is absolutely beautiful and stunning in this documentary. She is 92 years old now, but she just looks incredible. I mean, her story, her way to talk about her husband just kind of blows out of the screen and just really kind of encapsulates who she was and how important her legacy is as well as Medgar Evers' legacy. So I just want people to really take the time to see that. You can go to mpbonline.org where we have the documentary, and it's not just a documentary. There is a podcast that comes out of this. There's a digital series that comes out, web series that comes out of this, and there's also educational resources and curriculum that can be used in classrooms. And so this project, we stopped calling it a documentary a long time ago. It has expanded into something much bigger, and it is truly a legacy project.
I love that you're hearing it firsthand from the producer and director of the film, Medgar Evers' documentary, Everlasting Life and Legacy. Again, this is Taiwo Gaynor joining us on the Action News 5 digital desk. Again, we thank you so much for joining us this morning. We are looking forward to the premiere of it. Again, this is tomorrow at 7 p.m. exclusively on MPB television. Taiwo, thank you so much for joining us on the Action News 5 digital. Welcome back to the Action News 5 digital desk. This interview that's coming up is for all of our professionals, those in the business world. I'm speaking to CEOs, business leaders, managers. You're going to really enjoy this interview here. We are speaking with Michelle Earhart. She wrote a book, and this book will equip you with the tools, the mindset, anything to lead you and your crew through a crisis. So go ahead and take out your notepad now, because it's going to be a great discussion. I'm going to go ahead and bring her in. Good morning to you, Michelle. How are you?
I'm great. Thanks so much for having me.
Thanks so much for joining us on the Action News 5 digital desk. We want to get right into it. Crisis Compass, how to communicate when it matters most. If you were to describe your book in a nutshell, how would you describe it?
I think the easiest way to explain it is it's the book I wish I had when I started working in crisis communication so many years ago. It's almost a playbook for here is what you do first, second, third, fourth, fifth. And it also talks a lot about being prepared in advance. And I give a lot of examples. I give a lot of particular tabletop drills you can do. There's just a lot of information in it. Again, it's what I've learned over 30 years in the business, but also what
Yeah.
I wish I'd had when I started.
And speaking of, just your resume, you say you've been in the business, you've worked at FedEx, you now serve as Chief Marketing and Communications Officer at the University of Memphis. So elaborate about, just how that experience has kind of helped you or shaped you when it comes to leading a team, your leadership style, and things of that sort.
Yeah, I think in any crisis situation, it's a daunting task. It wouldn't be called a crisis if it weren't. To me, it has helped grow my leadership skills and understanding that preparedness is really the key. You plan the work and you work the plan, and it allows you to be the leader in the situation. If you go into anything unprepared, you don't feel as though you're at your best. So it's given me a lot of leadership insights through the years and understanding that if you do the homework, it makes
Yeah.
the test a little bit easier. And also leading with empathy. It's a tough day when you have a crisis. The people that are working on that crisis, and you do news,
Yeah.
those days are really difficult. You got to get through them. It's your job. And at the end of the day, that's when you can take a breath and think about what you just went through.
Michelle, we've only been talking for about 5 minutes here, but based on this conversation, I can see your calm nature. So I have to ask you, how do you manage to stay calm? I know we're not in a crisis right now, but if we were to be in one, how do you stay calm when you're leading a team and you're just trying to navigate your way through just a certain situation?
Well, I think it comes from realizing that everyone's watching you when you're leading. You need to make sure that you're casting the shadow of what you want them to be. And in the middle of a crisis, you want everyone to be as calm as possible. So I think what you see me being calm is really muscle memory. Football players don't go out and play a game without actually doing the practice beforehand. So I've just had a lot of experience in it. And I always joke with my family and friends that I'm great in a crisis, but I'm terrible afterwards because then you get a chance to think about what you just did.
Absolutely. Well, I have that book up for people to take a look at it. What would you say, do you think people underestimate how quickly, a small issue can become a crisis? And if so, like, what are the signs to watch out for?
No, absolutely. I would say that the number one rule in crisis communications is avoid it. So it's really smart to be ahead of whatever you're putting out from a brand and marketing perspective. There's all types of opportunities to be able to social media monitor and think through your message, but then also see how your customers are reacting to it. And you get a lot of information from reading the comments, some good, some bad. But when you read the comments in social media, it often gives you almost the pulse of what's happening, and it allows you to read the temperature. Pay attention to that. It's helped me in many, many cases throughout my career to be a little bit ahead of the curve, looking around the corner.
Yeah, and we know crisis can come in any shape or form, whether that's a natural disaster, public scandals, or anything. But this book that you're seeing on your screen can help you navigate that. Michelle Earhart, before I let you go, just give us the key takeaways from Crisis Compass, what you want people to know before we wrap things up.
Plan the work and work the plan. Do your homework. And that means when the bad day happens, you're going to be a lot more prepared.
Alrighty, that's Michelle Earhart joining us on the Action News 5 digital desk. Take a good look at it. We have that book posted there. Are there any logistics? Where can people go to find it if they are interested in purchasing it?
I'm so glad you asked. We are actually having a book signing tomorrow night at Novel from 6 to 8 p.m. It is available at Novel Bookstore, also on Amazon and barnesandnoble.com.
Perfect timing. How about that? Again, that's Michelle Earhart joining us on the Action News 5 digital desk. Thanks so much for stopping by. Welcome back to the Action News 5 Digital Desk. This week is National Rehab Awareness Week. We're talking all sorts of rehab, from physical therapy to occupational therapy, speech therapy, any rehab that can restore and strengthen your life. So we're bringing in right now Dr. Mario Ray. He is the medical director at Regional One Health. He's the expert here, and he's going to brief us on this matter, on this week, and how we can educate ourselves on this very important topic. Again, this is National Rehab Week, and Dr. Mario Ray is joining us this morning. Good morning to you.
Good morning.
Thank you so much for joining us on the Action News 5 Digital Desk. We'll just start it off simple with what types of rehabs are we talking about here that are available for patients or any of our viewers?
Well, thank you for this opportunity. Here at Regional One Inpatient Rehab, we offer a variety of rehabilitation services from, as you mentioned, physical therapy, which focuses on strength and mobility, return of function. We also have occupational therapy, which works on activities of daily living, like dressing or grooming, return to work. We treat a number of burn patients who may require adaptive equipment to help with self-care. We offer speech therapy. We treat a variety of patients with brain injuries and stroke survivors who have speech or swallowing difficulties. And so speech therapy focuses on that. But then we also offer other therapy services like recreational therapy. We have access to psychological and neuropsychological services and support, and then specialty rehab nursing therapy as well.
Interesting. So with this week being National Rehab Awareness Week, what's the main takeaway? What do we want our viewers to know?
Well, here at Regional One, we like to say that rehabilitation isn't the end of care, it's the beginning of recovery. A lot of our patients suffer some of the most traumatic injuries, and so we are highly adapted to managing very complex cases where patients have fractures, multiple fractures, or brain injuries, spinal cord injuries, and we want the community to know that rehabilitation is integral in the recovery and healing process.
I love that. Now, Dr. Ray, based on your experience, how has rehab been for patients? Do you have to create a plan, kind of geared to or tailored to each patient, or is it pretty standard across the board?
No, ma'am, it is very tailored. It's a patient-centered, interdisciplinary approach to creating a personalized plan of care for every patient, because every patient is different. It's not cookie cutter rehabilitation. The services and rehabilitation efforts are much different from a patient who has suffered, say, a brain injury, from a patient who suffered a spinal cord injury, or a patient that's recovering from a severe burn, or a stroke survivor. We even take care of patients who we have oncology services here at Regional One who are debilitated from their chemo. They're weak, and they need re-strengthening from that or before chemo, so that they can tolerate the chemo. So it's a patient-centered interdisciplinary approach with our physicians, our specialty rehab physicians, our nursing team, our therapists, our case managers and social workers, all coming together to create an individualized plan of care for every patient.
That's a good way to put it. Now, how does someone get access to rehab services for our viewers who are listening in on this information and they want to make that next step? What does that look like?
Well, we take referrals from hospitals, case managers and social workers, outpatient facilities. But the easiest way to get in touch with us is to call us at our rehab at 901-545-8739, and someone there can help guide you on how to gain access to our rehabilitation services. We offer not only inpatient rehab services, but we also have outpatient rehab services here at our main campus, and we also have a comprehensive rehabilitation service at our campus out east at Quincy Kirby. And so you can just call that main number, 901-545-8739, and someone will be able to assist you.
A lot of available resources available for our viewers. Dr. Ray, before we let you go, was there anything you wanted to share, or there's a message that you want to hit home for our viewers watching today?
I will go back to that point that I said earlier about what we say here at Regional One about rehabilitation. Again, it is not the end of care; it's the beginning of recovery, and it's very integral in the healing process. And we would love for our patients to be aware of our services, but not just our services, but rehabilitation as a whole, so that patients can really focus on recovery, returning function, regaining independence and confidence, and getting back to the community.
All right, that's Dr. Mario Ray, the medical director at Regional One Health, joining us on the Action News 5 digital desk, joining us on what we consider National Rehab Awareness Week. Dr. Ray, thanks so much for joining us.
Thank you.
In for a treat. So many things happening this week. Kicking off tomorrow, the Shell and Will series. It's on a go. It's on the run here. And we have our friend Shelby Smith joining us on the Action News 5 digital desk to tell us all about the great events lined up for this week. Good morning to you.
Good morning. Like you said, we have a jam-packed week and weekend of music and live entertainment here at the Overton Park Shell, and it all kicks off literally starting tomorrow during our Shell Yeah benefit series featuring Big Crit and a local rapper and talented songwriter and art curator. His name is Dame Mufasa. He comes from our underground scene, so very excited to bring him onto the stage alongside Big Crit. And the best part of that Shell Yeah benefit series is that it does empower all of our free concerts. So your dollars are going to like a great place. You're sustaining the magic of music and music accessibility and arts accessibility here at the Overton Park Shell. So that's definitely tomorrow. Make sure you get your tickets well in advance. We'll be selling tickets here, but you still have to purchase them online through Ticketmaster. So definitely, if you want to make sure you have a seamless entry, go ahead and get those tickets today. We'll have food trucks, and again, fantastic show to kick off a very packed weekend of music here at the Overton Park Shell as well. Like I said, on Friday, the Orion Financial Free Concert Series continues with DJ AD and the Vibe Tribe. If you have not caught DJ AD out spinning, local DJ, if you've been at probably any wedding in the city of Memphis, you've likely run into DJ AD. Such a powerhouse, and she is going to be joined by Hope Claiborne and a couple other artists, just bringing that magic to the Overton Park Shell stage. Definitely make sure you have on your dancing shoes for that one, because I know I'm going to be out on the dance floor, so I hope you will as well. And then following up that, closing out the weekend on Saturday, we will have the Princeton James Productions. Kind of think of it as a mixture of like what the Stax Music Academy performance would look like, but also tying in live theater, poetry. They're bringing in just a lot of different talented young artists and seasoned veterans within our arts and culture scene in the city of Memphis. So that is going to close out our weekend on Saturday. But as mentioned, we're still rocking and rolling with all the great music experiences here at the Overton Park Shell. From our Orion Financial Free Concert Series to our Shell Yeah Benefit Series, there's plenty for people to enjoy, and we're just excited to continue bringing the good vibes to the city of Memphis as always.
Look at that. I have the flyer circulating right here on your screen so you can take a picture and write down all that information. Mark your calendar. So many great events happening at the Overton Park Shell. And as that flyer said, Shell yeah, and I can agree with that. It's so much fun. It brings so much excitement. And the best part is this is free, right? Do I have that right?
So our Shell Yeah Benefit Series, that is a ticketed show. Like I said, it does empower our free concert series. But the 2 weekend shows featuring DJ AD and the Vibe Tribe and Princeton James Productions, those are absolutely free. So you come, bring whatever you need to have a great time. You can bring your own food. You can bring your own drinks. You can bring your mom, bring your dad, bring your cousin, bring your aunties, bring whatever you need just to have a great experience here on our lawn. But definitely make sure if you want to come to our Shell Yeah Benefit Series featuring Big Crit and Dame Mufasa on Thursday, September 18th. So that's tomorrow. Definitely make sure to purchase those tickets in advance.
All right, a family-friendly event. So glad you clarified that. You have all the information here. Shelby Smith breaking that down for us on the Action News 5 Digital.
Good morning. Welcome back to the Action News 5 Digital Desk. We have an amazing event that is happening later this month. We are talking about the St. Jude Walk. It's happening downtown. It's September 27th. Always a great time. And fortunately, this year, Ariana Poindexter, my co-anchor in the morning, along with me, I have the privilege of also being an MC this year. And joining me on the digital desk, I'm joined by 2 parents, Craig and Ashley. They have a child, my understanding is, at St. Jude. Good morning to you both. Tell me a little bit about your situation.
Good morning. So we do. We have a son, Ingram. He is a patient at St. Jude. And it started with his preschool calling when he was 3.5 years old. And they called to say that something had happened on the playground. They said that he had a headache and that he was holding the back of his head and just kind of crying. Nobody saw him fall, so they didn't really know what was going on. So I went and picked him up from preschool, and I saw that afternoon what they were talking about. He kind of held the back of his head back here, and he was crying for about 20-30 seconds, but then was fine. It happened a few more times over the next few days, and each time it got progressively worse, and he got sick with it. So after talking to our pediatrician, they were thinking he might have migraines, but we would need to get a CAT scan. So the next day, after being with the pediatrician, we went to get a CAT scan. And then later that afternoon, they called and said that Ingram might have a brain tumor.
And that was back in 2012. And so we've had a long journey with that, and with St. Jude, and been a patient there ever since. And Ingram is 16 today and doing outstanding. But we've had a long journey with St. Jude, and really love what they do.
Absolutely. Wow. Well, listen, I appreciate both of you, Craig and Ashley, for opening up to us and our audience. We have thousands of people who watch us each and every morning on the digital desk. Tell me, is your son still getting treatment at St. Jude?
Yeah, no. So his treatment protocol lasted about 6 months to 9 months. He was, and he had a very aggressive type of cancer. It's called anaplastic ependymoma. It's a brain tumor. And so St. Jude actually developed a unique protocol, treatment protocol for him because of how aggressive it was. But that lasted about 9 months total. And then he has not had treatment since then. But we go every year for checkups to meet with his primary oncologist and for them to monitor different parts of his growth as he continues to grow after all the treatment and whatnot. So.
Excellent, excellent. A lot of times when patients are a part of St. Jude and the life-saving care that they give each and every day throughout the years, a lot of times they want to be a part of giving back and being on the staff in some form or fashion. Has he ever talked to you about that?
Yeah, he has. So his primary doctor is Dr. Amar Gajar, who's outstanding, one of the best in the world at pediatric brain tumors. And Ingram he's a junior in high school, and he has indicated that he's interested in oncology. So he's looking at programs, undergraduate programs that could get him to that type of career. But he specifically would like to do what Dr. Gajar does.
That's fantastic. I love that. What a great story there. We are, as you heard in the introduction, my co-anchor and I are going to be a part of the St. Jude Walk later this month, September 27th at Tom Lee Park. Have you guys taken part of that? If so, tell me your experiences.
Yes, we have been involved with it, with the walk for about 3-4 years now, maybe. And it is so much fun. The people who come down for the walk, I feel like it's almost a version of a family reunion because people just do it year after year after year. And it's not something that you have to go out and train for. It's literally getting your family together, getting your church group, your people at work, companies. It's such a community event.
Yeah, I agree. I enjoyed it when I was a part of it a couple of years ago. It's almost like a celebration. It's a celebration of not only having a gem like St. Jude Children's Research Hospital in our backyard, but also just a celebration of the life-saving care they give throughout the year for so many thousands of families, not charging families a dime. What do you want to say to the people who are watching us right now that perhaps they want to join, or maybe they're on the fence about joining this walk on September 27th at Tom Lee Park?
Yeah, I'd say join us. It's a great day. It's you don't have to be a marathon runner. You can come out and walk. Some people run fast. Some people go slowly. It just depends. You can do whatever you want to do. It's a day of celebration. And I would just say, look, childhood cancer sucks. There's not a real eloquent way to say that. But what St. Jude does is amazing. And we have, in downtown Memphis, you have a team of people who are changing the way the world understands and treats cancer. And the world is a better place because of what they're doing downtown. It's in our backyard. And it's a day where we can go out and celebrate what they're doing. We can go out and support them. And to me, it's just a lot of fun to be able to take pride in something that's going on here in Memphis that's really impacting the world for the better.
Okay, the St. Jude Walk, September 27th at Tom Lee Park downtown. You can register by going to stjude.org and be a part of the fun. Thousands of people are going to be there, and it's always a great celebration. Craig and Ashley, thank you for coming on the digital desk, talking about your story. God bless you and your family, and I look forward to seeing you on September 27th at Tom Lee Park downtown. We appreciate your time this morning.
Thank you very much for having us.
Good morning. Welcome back to the Action News 5 digital desk. health problems and health issues happen all the time to all kinds of Americans every day of every year. But sometimes when certain health issues happen to certain people, they can shed a bigger light, a bigger focus on some of the issues associated with it to make people more aware of their health and their health journey. Joining me on the Action News 5 digital desk, I am joined by an NFL legend, Barry Sanders, Hall of Fame running back, someone that so many football fans enjoyed watching in college and in pro. And here he is joining us now on the Action News 5 digital desk. And Barry Sanders, so great to have you with us and talking with us about not only football, because I'd like to get into that just a little bit, but I want to begin with a little bit about your health journey and something that happened last year that happens to so many of Americans. I understand you had a heart attack. Can you take me through what happened and where you are now? Good morning.
Appreciate it. Good morning, Andrew. Yeah, for me, it was a little bit over a year ago. I woke up. I had sort of a mild sort of burning feeling in my chest. I assumed it was heartburn or something like that, or something I ate or whatever. I just kind of tried to shake it off. And then just after it persisted most of the day, I drove myself to the emergency room. And then they proceeded to run tests on me, and they discovered that I had a heart attack. And so I didn't know anything about high LDL-C or bad cholesterol, anything like that. But that's how it presented itself in my case, and many cases are different. And so yeah, it kind of led me on this journey.
Were there any symptoms leading up to it, Barry? I mean, what was it like prior to, maybe a couple of days before, the night before?
Not that I can recall. I don't remember there being any symptoms in my case. Like I said, everyone's different. That's why I encourage people certainly to have that conversation with their doctor about LDL-C or bad cholesterol. The only way to find out about your LDL-C is to talk to your doctor and get tested. So it's definitely important that you do that, and that's why I was fortunate enough to join with Amgen on this documentary called "The Making of a Heart Attack," so people get an understanding on sort of different stories, different cases of how these things present, how they happen. And sometimes it's hereditary, which it's not necessarily something you're doing. So if people want to find out more about that, they can go to attackheartdisease.com/documentary and watch watch it, and you hear about my story, like I said, and as well as others, and just kind of see kind of get a broad picture of how heart attacks and strokes do happen.
What advice do you have for folks out there, around your age or perhaps younger that, think that they're in good shape, they're in good health, and they don't think it's going to happen to them?
Yeah, I think that's sort of a common theme, and so that's why it's important to encourage people to go see their doctor and have the conversation, because it really doesn't have much to do with your age or weight or anything like that. You really need to have that bad cholesterol tested, and the only way to do that is to see your doctor, because it happens so often in so many places where we would not expect, and so that's why it is important for people to have that conversation with their doctor, because I was one who I didn't understand bad cholesterol, high LDL-C, and I felt like I was relatively healthy as well.
Where can we see the making of a heart attack, this documentary?
Yeah, you can see the making of the heart attack, the making of a heart attack. You can see that at attackheartdisease.com/documentary. And again, you'll hear my story. You'll hear the story of 4 other individuals who suffered heart attack and or stroke. And I think you'll be surprised. I mean, it's some really inspiring stories, but very educational. And it really does a good job of explaining, how, these things are very unpredictable. It can happen anywhere. And so you really need to be in touch with your doctor, as we all have those conversations with our doctor about other things. And so this is one of those conversations you should have as well.
It's not every day I have an NFL legend on the Action News 5 digital desk. I'm a huge football fan, so and I see on those commercials all the time, the Heisman commercials. Very funny. You do a great job. Tell me what you're watching for, both in the college football side of things and the NFL, particularly. Are you still a big Detroit Lions fan?
Absolutely. I'm still a big Detroit Lions fan. It was kind of a tough weekend college-wise. I went to Oklahoma State. We got we played Oregon and wasn't a very good game. And then living in Michigan, took a tough loss as well to the Sooners. And certainly, the Lions had a tough game yesterday against the Packers, but we're still hoping for big things for the Lions. We know that it was only week one. Packers played inspired. Obviously, the big news of Micah Parsons coming over with them. And so the good thing is we get to see him again at some point. But we got to reload this week and get ready for the Bears.
Absolutely. Who's your Can you predict maybe who's going to be in the Super Bowl and who's your favorite in the college football race?
Oh yeah, well, Super Bowl wise, hey, we're hoping that the Lions will be there. We know that it's going to be a tough fight in the conference. I mean, you got to look at the Eagles as the favorite. We were knocked out last year by the Commanders. And there's a couple other teams. Obviously, you look at the Vikings in our same division. We just played the Packers yesterday. So we know we got our work cut out for us. And so I'm hoping for something like a Bills Lions Super Bowl or something like that. College wise, I pull for all the Michigan teams, and obviously, like I said before, I went to Oklahoma State. I'm excited about all the changes going on in college. I mean, I like the fact that living here in Michigan in Big Ten country, the last 2 years, Big Ten teams have won national championships. Right? We'll see how that changes. We know that the SEC is always going to have something to say about the national championship race, and we'll see. We'll see if the Big Ten can continue to hold those guys off.
Awesome. Well, listen, NFL legend Barry Sanders joining us on the Action News 5 digital desk. Thank you for your message about heart attacks and health and the making of a heart attack, your documentary. Congratulations on a Hall of Fame career. Pleasure to talk to you, and thanks for taking a few minutes to join us on the digital desk. We appreciate your time.
Glad to be here. Thanks for having me.
Alrighty, the time now is 7:53. We want to get you caught up on some of our top stories of the morning. Okay, so right now, police in Cleveland, Mississippi continue to investigate the death of a black student at Delta State University after he was found hanging from a tree. DeMartravion Trey Reed was found around 7:30 Monday morning. Investigators say there is video related to the incident, but they are not saying much about what the video shows. The Bolivar County coroner says the actual incident happened sometime Sunday, but police are not saying who discovered Reed's body or how the 21-year-old got on the tree. Reed's uncle says his nephew's life was taken far too soon. The coroner is not ruling the death as a homicide nor suicide, but considering it a death investigation. The coroner, again, is calling this a death investigation. When we get additional information, we will let you know and keep you in the loop about that. Now, we are hearing from Ben Crump about this. Of course, I want to bring up his statement right now. Civil rights attorney Ben Crump, who represents Reed's family, is calling for the video to be released. He said, in part, quote, "By demanding the family be allowed to view any video and commissioning an independent autopsy, we are taking every step to uncover the truth about what happened to Trey." Well, moving on now, Memphis City Council members plan to propose a resolution urging Governor Bill Lee to stop National Guard troops from coming to Memphis. Council members will share the resolution later this morning, then vote on it in today's council meeting. Councilwoman Jerry Green, who is also running for Tennessee governor, says it takes away from efforts to end poverty. She says, quote, decisions about Memphis should be made with us, not forced upon us by politicians who have never walked our streets. I stand ready to reject any attempts to undermine our democracy. End quote. Well, take a look at your screen. The Memphis Fire Department has extinguished a warehouse fire near the Memphis International Airport. Now, here's video from the scene when we sent a crew there. This is at East Brooks Road and Carrier Street. This was last night. We shot. We'll update you once we get that information. Looking ahead, Memphis Shelby County Schools is launching a new gun safety curriculum later this month, now required under Tennessee law. As a part of the rollout, MSCS will host 2 community forums. The first is a virtual family forum on firearm safety. That's this afternoon at 5:30. Parents and guardians can join to learn more about the curriculum. They can take part in the discussion and see a safe storage demonstration from law enforcement. Well, do you know this face? Longtime Memphis TV news and sports anchor Les Smith has died after battling lung cancer. Smith worked here at WMC from 1983 to 1985 and has even worked at every TV news operation right here in Memphis. Les Smith was 75 years old. Well, Kroger and first responders are teaming up to support the Mid-South Food Bank. Heroes Fight Hunger happens today from 3 to 7 p.m. at the Kroger in Poplar Plaza. That's the corner of Poplar and Highland. Shoppers will get a list of the 5 most needed items. That's pasta, canned veggies, meat, soups, and fruit, which after they purchase it, they can then donate it to one of the agencies in the parking lot. Again, that happens today from 3 to 7 at the Kroger at the corner of Poplar and Highland.
We still have some weeks until the National Guard makes its way here to Memphis, but Shelby County Republicans will welcome them tonight for a rally, and many of them are saying they are happy that help is on the way. We did hear from Shelby County Republicans about where they stand on this matter, and of course all this comes as just on Monday, President Trump did authorize the creation of the Memphis Safe Task Force, which will bring the troops here. Tennessee Governor Bill Lee says that he expects National Guard members to arrive within the next 2 weeks. Now, leaders with the Shelby County Republican Party say they believe the Guard will do the work to help clean up crime here in Memphis.
The Republican Party is ready to stand with President Trump, Governor Bill Lee, Senator Brent Taylor, Senators Marsha Blackburn, Hagerty, Congressman Kustoff. They are all fighting to get this crime crisis under control. It's going to take Republicans to clean it up, and we are here ready to do it.
Now, as a reminder about what the National Guard can and cannot do when they arrive, that is because the governor has not declared a state of emergency at this time. So troops will have no law enforcement power. This means no traffic stops or arrests. They'll be here indefinitely, so it is up to Governor Bill Lee as to when they can leave. The Memphis Safe Task Force memorandum also addresses besieged or high crime neighborhoods. However, those specific neighborhoods have not been named. Well, tonight's rally does start at 6 p.m. It's going to be on Briarcrest Avenue, that is just across from Mission Church over in East Memphis. Now, as always, Action News 5 is going to continue covering this story. We'll have coverage of that rally for you right here on Action News 5 and online, so be sure you are following along. In Midtown, Sydney Gray, back to you.
All right, thanks so much, Sydney. Those are your top stories of the morning. You can catch all those stories on our website, actionnews5.com. All right, now we're going to get a check on our forecast with First Alert meteorologist Patrick Ellis.
Thanks for joining us here on the Action News 5 digital desk here on a Thursday morning, which features another air quality alert, a code orange. Unhealthy for some, doesn't mean for all, but understand it's not just going to be for the metro area. It really does extend itself across much of the Action News 5 coverage area. We're still in this very stagnant air mass that has been kind of brought in with some wildfire smoke from the west and Canada. That coupled with not a lot of wind to blow it around, and just our daily carbon monoxide and dioxide emissions here across the Mid-South. Well, that's adding to some issues. So that's going to be a problem for us again here today, but there could be some help on the way by way of a front approaching us to help to kind of scour things out just a little bit. Temperatures will top out in the middle 90s here today, actually nearing a record high today, 99 set back in 2019. Feels like temperatures will approach 100. So again, while we have been hotter, I just want to remind you that this is atypical for this time of the year. We're running about 10 degrees above average for this time of the year. So a reminder to drink plenty of hydrating fluids, wear light, loose fitting clothing, breaks to the shade or indoors, and of course checking in on groups of folks who may not have adequate access to cooling relief. And even with the front on the move, we'll start to see a little dip in temperatures back to the lower 90s, still above average for this time of the year as we head through Friday and Saturday. But you do notice a couple of more chances for rain coming in our direction, which we desperately need. There may be more in the extended range as we head into the next, say, 7 to 10 days across the region. Let's take a look at our first alert futurecast. And again, we're going to start this off now on Friday. So today should be carbon copy of what you saw yesterday. Tomorrow we'll start off with a few clouds, becoming mostly cloudy for a period, and a chance for some showers and thunderstorms to erupt. Now, understand there may be a few storms that get a little feisty, some gusty winds, frequent lightning type of situation, maybe some small hail, not completely off of the table here for Friday afternoon and early evening hours. But this could have some implications for Friday football fever games here across the Mid-South. If it's not actively raining at 7 o'clock, 6 o'clock, whenever the games begin here across the region, it may be a wet field that could be impacting you. So that's something else that we'll be watching through the course of the day. Temperatures will ease their way from the 90s back through the 60s to start off early on Saturday morning. Lots of stuff going on this upcoming weekend here across the Mid-South. We've got the Mid-South Balloon Festival in Rossville. We've got the Broom Corn Festival over in Selmer. We've got Memphis Tigers at home, Ole Miss Rebels at home. We've got the Runway 5K at the Memphis International Airport. That will be happening Saturday morning. So I think the weather should cooperate for the most part, but we get towards 2, 3 o'clock in the afternoon on Saturday, there could be a few isolated spotty downpours developing amid a mixture of clouds and sunshine. Yes, in the low 90s we go. Speaking of the Memphis Tigers going up against the Arkansas Razorbacks, taking the road trip down here to the city of Memphis after a road trip to Oxford last weekend. We'll see how this one plays out. 11 a.m. kickoff over at Simmons Bank Liberty Stadium. Temperatures will ease their way up to the low 90s, partly sunny skies, and an afternoon shower can't be ruled out. At 2:30, the kickoff for the Ole Miss Rebels in the Tulane Green Wave. Low 90s also, partly cloudy skies. Can't rule it out that there could be a shower. I think maybe a slightly lower chance in North Mississippi on Saturday afternoon comparatively to maybe West Tennessee and Eastern Arkansas. I do want to give you a first alert, though, as we head through the upcoming weekend. I think we get through this period fairly quiet. There's a little nudge of warmer air trying to build in our direction for Saturday into Sunday, but that will be short-lived. There's a big area of low pressure off to the north that will be dropping in, and that was what is going to help to facilitate a drop in temperatures, more clouds, and better chances for rain, hopefully, as that upper low pivots in our direction, so that we'll have at least some chances for rain coming back into the fold as we head through the coming days. In the meantime, though, again, fairly quiet for us here today. 96 nearing a record high, 92 tomorrow, as well as Saturday and Sunday. A mixture of clouds and sunshine through the weekend. Again, a slightly better chance for a few afternoon showers and storms on Friday. A few spotty opportunities on Saturday and Sunday. Pick back up another rain chance as we head towards Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday of next week, possibly even Thursday, Friday, just depending on how long this upper low gets cut off from the main flow pattern. And as that happens, typically these orphan lows, they bring us more clouds, cooler temperatures, and the occasional opportunity for some showers. Maybe not a lot, but something that will get us along as we head into the first week of fall, as fall officially begins 1:19 in the afternoon on Monday afternoon.
Good morning. Welcome back to the Action News 5 Digital Desk. Well, I am here to talk to you about the Southern Heritage Classic that's coming up later this month. It is the big game between Arkansas Pine Bluff and Alcorn State, happening September 27th, but events begin a couple of days before on September 25th. And joining me now on the Action News 5 Digital Desk to talk more about the Southern Heritage Classic weekend, the founder, Fred Jones, on the Action News 5 Digital Desk. Fred, nice to talk with you. So tell me about this year's Southern Heritage Classic. It's rapidly approaching. Good morning.
Good morning. Yes, it's edition number 36. And we are all prepared for it. September 25 through 27. And it's the classic as usual. We have a lot of entertainment. We have a lot of great family activities, and of course the big game finale with Alcorn State and Arkansas Pine Bluff.
You know, it certainly is about college football and Arkansas Pine Bluff and Alcorn State, but this means more than just about football. It's about coming together. It's about the events. It's about the camaraderie, isn't it?
Yes, it's become a big family reunion, fraternity, sorority reunion, friends gathering. It's a great time for the city to come together, and they seem to have rallied around this event all of these years, and I'm very pleased with that. So it's it's almost like a big gumbo with all of this. People come together with the events and what have you, but it showcases Memphis in a very positive way.
Absolutely, 100%, and it does great things for the local economy. We know that as well. Tell me the feedback you've received now, because it has gone through some iterations, some changes, especially over the last couple of years, 2-3 years. Tell me about this year specifically, what people can expect beginning September 25th.
Business as usual. We have the same formula that we've used every year with 2 HBCU schools. Question mentioned about Jackson State and Tennessee State. This is the first year that we've had neither one of the schools in the event. So it's a new beginning, but it's the same thing that we've always been able to present with the Southern Heritage Classic: that family, friends, football, and a great time. And the showcase this year that happens to be Alcorn State and Arkansas Pine Bluff.
Okay. Anything else you want to mention to the thousands of people who are watching us right now on the Action News 5 Digital Desk? Again, the Southern Heritage Classic, the game takes place September 27th with events beginning September 25th. Anything else, Fred, before we let you go?
Well, the main thing is that for all of the information is on our website, southernheritageclassic.com. Click on events, click on whatever information that you would need. But then again, if you want some additional information, you always call us at 901-398-6655. But it's all on southernheritageclassic.com.
Okay, Fred Jones, the Southern Heritage Classic founder, joining us on the Action News 5 Digital Desk. Thanks for taking a few minutes, Fred. We appreciate it, and good luck on that wonderful weekend coming up later this month. We appreciate it.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
Good morning. Welcome back to the Action News 5 Digital Desk. We have an amazing event each and every year coming to Memphis. It is the St. Jude Memphis Marathon, and there are so many people that make it happen, including some 3,500 volunteers. Joining me on the Action News 5 Digital Desk, I am joined right now by Krista Flanagan. She works at St. Jude Children's Research Hospital, Community Relations Volunteer Director. The Memphis Marathon is set for December 6th, Krista, so tell us how preparations are going. Good morning.
Good morning. Thanks for having me. Preparations are going really well. December is going to be here before we know it, but you know, this is such a special event. When Danny Thomas envisioned all those years ago that no child should die in the dawn of life, and now here we are with this event, which is St. Jude Memphis Marathon Weekend presented by Jude's Plus. We have 23,000 runners, and like you talked about, 3,500 volunteers, cheer stations, spectators, sponsors, everybody coming together for that vision and making this the largest single-day fundraiser for the kids and families of St. Jude Children's Research Hospital. So it is a very, very special event for us and for the whole community of Memphis.
Yes, there's no question about it. It is something that everyone gets excited about, certainly on December 6th of this year. So let's talk about how volunteers can be a part of the process. Once again, how can they sign up?
Right. So volunteer registration is currently open. There are more than 90 volunteer positions, if you can believe that start in mid-November in terms of pre-preparation activities. And then we move to the Health and Fitness Expo, where volunteers can help with packet pickup, shirt distribution, all sorts of jobs there. And then you can imagine on race day, everything from the start line all the way on the course to the finish line to the finish festival, handing out food and beverage. And so, again, like we talked about, volunteer registration is currently open. It's stjude.org/marathon volunteer. And we welcome individuals, we welcome groups, we welcome business teams of colleagues. The great thing about this event is there is a position for everyone. And so it's a simple registration process, and we would love to have everybody come out and celebrate and do this work with us.
You know, every time it comes, and there are just so many people, and I know you see this firsthand, Krista. There's just so many people that just want to be out there, wave, and root everybody on. And that's part of the process too, right? To have volunteers that just root on those runners.
You are absolutely correct. So we call that our cheer station program. And so we work with groups of all sizes, from 5 to 6 people who are family members who want to come out, to patient families whose children have been treated by St. Jude, all the way up to businesses and corporations and fraternities and sororities. And so we have a simple form that they can fill out and let us know that they want to come. We'll designate a spot for them on course. We'll make it simple. We'll give them all the cheer items, pom-poms, poster making supplies, all the fun things that they can use. But as you can imagine, our runners, especially those going the longer distances, really need that cheering on. And our St. Jude Heroes program, which is our runners who do the fundraising, who help us raise that $16 million, they really need that help to be cheered on too. And so it's a really special program that we've created, that if you don't want to run, if you're maybe not interested in committing to be a volunteer, just come out along the course and really celebrate with us. We're trying to create this event as it's the first Saturday in December every year for Memphis, and it's a celebration not only of St. Jude, but of the city of Memphis. We have people coming from all 50 states, 20 plus countries, and this is really maybe the first time they see the city of Memphis, and it's an opportunity for us to get out there and show them what's so special.
No question about it, and we're so proud to have such a gem like St. Jude Children's Research Hospital in our backyard, being here each and every day, and having the Memphis Marathon, having the St. Jude Dream Home, all these different events. Such a great mission statement, looking and providing cures for so many families out there, for so many young children. Anything else you want to mention before we let you go, Krista? I guess let's mention once again the website where people can sign up.
Yes, it's stjude.org/marathon volunteer. And, you know, we can kind of give an insider tip to all your viewers. So whether they're running, volunteering, or cheering, this is the year to get in, because next year's our 25th anniversary. And so those people that participate in those methods this year will get kind of first dibs to be part of the 25th anniversary, which is going to be so much more special this year. It's always a special event, but we know next year is going to be really important to us. So get in now.
All right, Krista Flanagan, volunteers needed for St. Jude Memphis Marathon. It is December 6th, so it'll be here before we know it. We really appreciate you coming on the Action News 5 Digital Desk. Thank you, Krista, and all the best for that December 6th weekend. We appreciate your time.
Thank you so much. We appreciate being on with you.
Good morning. Welcome to the Action News 5 Digital Desk. Have you heard of the kissing bug disease? Well, this is something that the CDC says that cases have been reported, that it is certainly relevant, including cases all across the country and here in the Mid-South. We're talking about Tennessee, Mississippi, and Arkansas. The insect often bites people on the face, which is how it got its nickname. So what is it? How serious is it? What can we do to prevent it? Joining me on the Action News 5 Digital Desk, our friend Dr. Anna Yang at Regional One Health. She's an emergency medicine primary care physician, joining us to talk about this kissing bug disease. And Anna, I got to be honest, I haven't heard of this before. Tell me how long it's been around. How serious is it? Good morning.
Good morning. Thanks for having me. So yes, the kissing bug disease, or the Chagas disease, which is what many of the kissing bugs carry, has actually been around for a long time. And it's been in the US for a long time as well, just not as many cases. It was actually a disease primarily of South America, Central America, and Mexico. So we didn't see it very much in the US, but it seems like gradually over time, this kissing bug has gradually moved its way up north and is coming into the United States. It's still primarily a disease of the southern area of the United States, but we are seeing a few scattered cases now here, further north in the US as well. Yes, that is a photo of what the kissing bug looks like. Size-wise, it's just a little bit bigger than a penny. There are a couple of different species here in the US, but yes, that is exactly what they look like.
Nasty, I just got to say. Not fun to look at. There it is. And in relation to a penny, you're absolutely right. So deadly Chaga disease. So how serious is this? So if we were to get bitten by one of these bugs, what happens to us?
So the kissing bug bite isn't actually what infects you. So kissing bugs, like a lot of other bugs and insects, want to drink blood. This is how they get their nutrition. So they're looking for you or your dog or some sort of other animal that they can bite and drink blood from. Now, it's not the mouth that they're transmitting the disease from, though. Some of these kissing bugs, after they drink the blood, they then poop. And it's then their poop, which carries the parasite in it, the Chagas disease, that then gets into the wound that they bit you from, or potentially if it's on the face, maybe into your mouth or maybe into your eye, when you rub your face. These bugs are most active at night, so they're often biting people when they're asleep. And so, if you roll over in the bed, kind of irritate your face or rub it or something, that poop left over from the bug can get into something, some hole, some wound, some eye or mouth or something in your face, and then cause the infection. Most people who get the infection are still okay. Most of the time, within a month or a month and a half, they might develop some vague symptoms, some mild symptoms. Some people even have no symptoms. Rarely do people have really severe symptoms that affect their heart or their brain, and it does kill people, but not very often. Now, that's the acute phase. Now, the chronic phase, though, affects up to maybe a third of these people. And the chronic phase, can take many, many years to begin, but this can involve issues with their intestines and their heart long term. And I've actually seen some of these long term effects of Chagas disease back when I used to work in Texas, where there's a lot more of these cases than there is here in Tennessee.
Wow. Okay. Man, lot to discuss there. Bug feces, among other things. Certainly, I wasn't expecting that, Anna, but listen, you're giving us the straight truth, unfiltered here on the Action News 5 digital desk. We appreciate that. So you said in those rare instances it could be fatal, but generally it's other symptoms are what? Fever, that sort of thing?
Yeah, you're kind of really vague symptoms, body aches, fever, maybe a rash. Often where the infection went into your skin, they'll have like a bump, like a kind of a bug bite, kind of a swollen red area, often kind of somewhere on the face, which is where they usually initially bit you. But it's just really vague symptoms, and that makes this so hard to diagnose. It's often not something that we in the emergency room or in the primary care clinics are identifying. It's something we're generally relying on our, really smart infectious disease specialists to come in and do the specific testing for and get these really detailed histories to really identify the cause. Luckily, there is testing that tests specifically for this disease, and there is treatment. There's an antiparasitic, and there is treatment for it as well, especially in the early phases.
So how can we prevent it from I guess, pooping on us? How can we prevent this bug from infecting us? Let's just say it that way.
Yeah, I mean, the best way to prevent the bug from getting to you is to keep it away from you, period. So these bugs often like to hide in dirt and debris and in cracks in walls and things like that. So make sure, any holes or anything in your house are getting sealed. Make sure, if you've got windows open, that there's a good, reliable screen covering them. If there are any piles of dirt or debris or things like that that can attract these bugs and give them a place to hide during the day around your house, helping to clear that will help. And also animals. They don't attach like ticks do, but they can catch a ride on animals that are outside. So if you have outdoor dogs, just be careful of them as well. There is testing for dogs as well. Dogs can also get sick from these. And if you're concerned, talk to your veterinarian about this.
So, Anna, where can we go for information with regards to this? I know that there are thousands of people who watch us each and every morning, and perhaps they're hearing about this kissing bug disease for the very first time. Is there a place online?
So the CDC website has some good information. And like I talked about, Texas was a pretty big kind of area that would get a lot of this disease in the US compared to the rest of the United States. So where I went to medical school, Texas A&M, they have actually done a good amount of studies and they've got research ongoing. So there's actually some information through the Texas A&M website that you can look at along with the CDC and the Tennessee Health Department.
Okay, Dr. Anna Yang joining us on the digital desk, giving us that unfiltered truth on the kissing bug disease. I appreciate you coming on here and telling us exactly what it's all about and ways to make sure that bug does not infect us. Anna, thank you, as always, for coming on the digital desk and informing us about what this is all about. We appreciate your time. Good morning. Welcome back to the Action News 5 Digital Desk. Well, students have returned to the classrooms, and there is a new study from Gallup and the Walton Family Foundation. And it finds that student engagement is at a 3-year high. That's great news. I mean, half of high schoolers now say school lets them do what they do best. That's up from 40% just a few years ago in 2023. But here's the thing. Many students say their coursework isn't challenging or relevant. And they are also saying they haven't learned anything interesting recently. Let's talk more about this study from Gallup and the Walton Family Foundation with Romy Drucker. She is with the Walton Family Foundation. And Romy, I was looking at this, I was prepping for this interview. I found it very unusual, and I kind of want to do a little bit of a deep dive into that study. Tell us more. Good morning.
Good morning. Thanks for having me, Andrew. Yes, the study is really important in helping us better understand what students are looking for in their school experiences. 56% of students say they feel ready for the future, but too few feel good about their everyday lives. What we know is that school can be a place that closes that gap by being a spark, helping students feel inspired and engaged, but something needs to change about school to do that.
It's so fascinating to me, so interesting. And so tell us what needs to change. Does it need to be tougher? Does it need to be more relevant? What do you think?
The number one factor we consistently hear from students is relevant. Make my learning and my experience relevant to the world of work and to the challenges and opportunities I'll face in the future. Only 37% of Gen Zers say their learning in school feels connected to the real world. We need to make school a place that brings in experiences and exposure to the world of work, but also gives students the skill sets and mindsets to thrive in their lives more generally. Students are asking for that.
You know what? I can understand that in a way that my kids have moved on to college and afterwards. My daughter just graduated. And I remember them saying, you know, I'm not going to use this in my real life, in my profession, and what I'm going to do. Why am I learning it now? And I often thought, well, maybe they should focus on, you know, more financial news, more business news, more how to stay financially afloat, investments, that sort of thing. Is that where something like this is headed towards? What do you think, Romy?
There's a school in Memphis called Power Center Academy that's doing this really well, creating interdisciplinary projects and opportunities for students to connect with information and experiences that feel relevant to the jobs of the future. So it's not just learning math and social studies and English, but it's doing that in a context that really bridges to opportunities and challenges students will face in their futures, making it relevant to career, making it relevant to how students will apply that knowledge in college and beyond. Students are saying they want learning to feel connected to the real world, and that's a message we need to rally around as educators and communities.
I love that, and thank you for pointing out that Memphis connection there, Romy. What else can schools do to better connect with students and real-world careers long-term?
One thing we know from this data is that teachers are absolutely a difference maker. Students are telling us that loud and clear. 78% of students say that when teachers make their learning more fun and engaging, they feel more inspired and hopeful about their future. So supporting teachers, really nurturing that human connection between students and teachers is everything. So we need to make sure that we have the right supports in place for teachers so that they can do what they do best.
Really appreciate this discussion, Romy. Where can people go if they want to learn more about the study and perhaps solutions to this disconnect?
You can learn more at waltonfamilyfoundation.org/Gen Z study.
All right, Romy Drucker with the Walton Family Foundation. Thanks for coming on the Digital Desk and talking about a very important issue. We appreciate your time. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thanks for joining us here on the Action News 5 Digital Desk here on a Thursday morning, which features another air quality alert, a code orange. Unhealthy for some, doesn't mean for all, but understand it's not just going to be for the metro area. It really does extend itself across much of the Action News 5 coverage area. We're still in this very stagnant air mass that has been kind of brought in with some wildfire smoke from the west and Canada. That coupled with not a lot of wind to blow it around and just our daily carbon monoxide and dioxide emissions here across the Mid-South. Well, that's adding to some issues. So that's going to be a problem for us again here today, but there could be some help on the way by way of a front approaching us to help to kind of scour things out just a little bit. Temperatures will top out in the middle 90s here today, actually nearing a record high today, 99 set back in 2019. Feels like temperatures will approach 100. So again, while we have been hotter, I just want to remind you that this is atypical for this time of the year. We're running about 10 degrees above average for this time of the year. So a reminder to drink plenty of hydrating fluids, wear light, loose-fitting clothing, breaks in the shade or indoors, and of course checking in on groups of folks who may not have adequate access to cooling relief. And even with the front on the move, we'll start to see a little dip in temperatures back to the lower 90s, still above average for this time of the year as we head through Friday and Saturday. But you do notice a couple of more chances for rain coming in our direction, which we desperately need. There may be more in the extended range as we head into the next, say, 7 to 10 days across the region. Let's take a look at our first alert featurecast. And again, we're going to start this off now on Friday. So today should be carbon copy of what you saw yesterday. Tomorrow we'll start off with a few clouds, becoming mostly cloudy for a period and a chance for some showers and thunderstorms to erupt. Now, understand there may be a few storms that get a little feisty, some gusty winds, frequent lightning type of situation, maybe some small hail, not completely off of the table here for Friday afternoon and early evening hours. But this could have some implications for Friday football fever games here across the Mid-South. If it's not actively raining at 7 o'clock, 6 o'clock, whenever the games begin here across the region, it may be a wet field that could be impacting you. So that's something else that we'll be watching through the course of the day. Temperatures will ease their way from the 90s back through the 60s to start off early on Saturday morning. Lots of stuff going on this upcoming weekend here across the Mid-South. We've got the Mid-South Balloon Festival in Rossville. We've got the Broomcorn Festival over in Selmer. We've got Memphis Tigers at home, Ole Miss Rebels at home. We've got the Runway 5K at the Memphis International Airport. That will be happening Saturday morning. So I think the weather should cooperate for the most part, but we get towards 2, 3 o'clock in the afternoon on Saturday, there could be a few isolated spotty downpours developing amid a mixture of clouds and sunshine. Yes, in the low 90s we go. Speaking of the Memphis Tigers going up against the Arkansas Razorbacks, taking the road trip down here to the city of Memphis after a road trip to Oxford last weekend. We'll see how this one plays out. 11 a.m. kickoff over at Simmons Bank Liberty Stadium. Temperatures will ease their way up to the low 90s, partly sunny skies, and an afternoon shower can't be ruled out. At 2:30, the kickoff for the Ole Miss Rebels in the Tulane Green Wave. Low 90s also, partly cloudy skies. Can't rule it out that there could be a shower. I think maybe a slightly lower chance in North Mississippi on Saturday afternoon comparatively to maybe West Tennessee and Eastern Arkansas. I do want to give you a first alert, though, as we head through the upcoming weekend. I think we get through this period fairly quiet. There's a little nudge of warmer air trying to build in our direction for Saturday into Sunday, but that will be short-lived. There's a big area of low pressure off to the north that will be dropping in, and that was what is going to help to facilitate a drop in temperatures, more clouds, and better chances for rain, hopefully, as that upper low pivots in our direction, so that we'll have at least some chances for rain coming back into the fold as we head through the coming days. In the meantime, though, again, fairly quiet for us here today. 96 nearing a record high, 92 tomorrow, as well as Saturday and Sunday. A mixture of clouds and sunshine through the weekend. Again, a slightly better chance for a few afternoon showers and storms on Friday. A few spotty opportunities on Saturday and Sunday. Pick back up another rain chance as we head towards Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday of next week, possibly even Thursday, Friday, just depending on how long this upper low gets cut off from the main flow pattern. And as that happens, typically these orphan lows, they bring us more clouds, cooler temperatures, and the occasional opportunity for some showers. Maybe not a lot, but something that will get us along as we head into the first week of fall, as fall officially begins 1:19 in the afternoon on Monday afternoon.
Hey, good morning, doctor. How are you doing? Can you hear me okay? I am not hearing you.
He's mute. I can't hear
Are
him.
you muted by chance? Maybe it's me. Hold on. It might be me.
Oh, wait. Try again, Mac. You had the wrong thing up. Try again.
Okay,
now.
can you
Say something now.
can you do a mic check one more
Can you hear
time?
us now?
Oh, there we go. There we go. Yep, I hear you
Okay.
now. There we go. All right, so we got 30 seconds and we'll come right to you. Hey guys, welcome back to the Action News 5 Digital Desk. I'm Sydney Gray. This morning we're talking about something really important to a lot of women, especially pregnant women. We're talking folic acid. It is something that a lot of doctors want people to know about and something that they want women especially to start taking. So joining me this morning on the Digital Desk, we've got OBGYN Dr. Patrick Cleeton joining me this morning. Dr. Cleeton, thank you so much for being on the Digital Desk. How are you doing today?
Doing well. Thank you for having me.
Wonderful, wonderful. So let's talk about this. For those who don't know what folic acid is, can you kind of talk about it and why it's so important?
Yeah, so folic acid or folate is basically vitamin B9. It's found in a lot of leafy greens, liver, eggs, peas. So it's found in a lot of naturally occurring foods in our diet. And then we've also started supplementing cereal grains like actual cereal and then bread, flour as well. So it's actually supplemented into a lot of foods to just help people get it through their diet because it's so important during early pregnancy.
And so I know doctors sometimes will have women take this as a supplement. What is why the supplements? Why is that necessary sometimes?
So the reason for the increased recommendation for increased amounts of folic acid in early pregnancy is to help prevent what are called neural tube defects. And the neural tube is what develops into the brain, spinal cord, and nervous system. And if there's not enough folic acid around, which is helpful for DNA synthesis, there's different issues that can occur. And so that's why supplementing helps prevent these issues. And supplementing with up to 400 micrograms of folic acid, which is what's found in a prenatal vitamin, can help reduce these neural tube defects by over 90% compared to no supplementation.
Gotcha. Good info to know. Can this help women who are not expecting at all?
So the recommendation is that all women of childbearing age take it because about 50% of pregnancies are unplanned. So the benefit of it is that you have that extra supplementation around before you actually become pregnant. And then if you weren't even planning to become pregnant, you still have the benefit of the extra folic acid.
And is it as simple as just getting an over-the-counter supplement, or do they need to be talking to their doctors before starting to take this type of supplement?
So it comes as a standard component of prenatal vitamins. It comes as a separate standalone vitamin. And as I mentioned earlier, it can be something that you get through diet alone, but it is definitely something that is recommended. And especially if you're in a high-risk group of patients, it would be recommended to even maybe go above that previously mentioned 400 microgram limit.
And you mentioned high-risk group, so I've got to ask, what women would be in that high-risk group? Who are we talking about here?
So anyone that's had a previous neural tube defect in a pregnancy, patients with malabsorption, and some of those patients can be with a chronic irritable bowel disease, or patients who have had certain weight loss surgeries that may divert some of the bowel. They can sometimes have reduced absorption. People with diabetes can also sometimes have reduced absorption. So those would be groups that I would recommend talk to their doctor and maybe increase from that standard 400 microgram level up to 800 micrograms, or even in certain patients 4 milligrams would be the extreme.
All right. Well, Dr. Cleeton, thank you so much for this information. We appreciate your time, of course, joining us here on the Digital Desk. Really great info, especially as we look at Folic Acid Awareness Week. Anything else you want the folks who are watching this morning to know?
There's a website that's called the National Birth Defects Prevention Network that is full of great information that would have more information beyond what we were able to discuss here today.
All right. Thank you so much, Dr. Patrick Cleeton with St. Francis Medical Partners. We do appreciate you.
Thank you.
All right, guys, don't go anywhere. There is so much more Action News 5 coming up. We're going to take a very short break, but it's 74 degrees out there, 8:42 this morning. Really just a gorgeous start to your day, but we will be right back.
Good morning. Welcome back to the Action News 5 Digital Desk. Shannon Miller is one of the most decorated gymnasts in Olympic history, a 7-time gold medalist for the Olympics, and so many people remember her competing on that international stage. She inspired so many young athletes of a new generation, but at age 33, she had a new challenge. In fact, probably her toughest routine yet, and that was battling ovarian cancer. Joining me on the Action News 5 Digital Desk, I have the pleasure to bring in Shannon Miller and also Dr. David O'Malley. He is a gynecologic oncologist with Ohio State University's Comprehensive Cancer Center, joining us on the Digital Desk. And Shannon, let me start with you. I appreciate you coming on to talk about a very personal battle with ovarian cancer. So many people remember you as shining brightly on the international stage. Take us through the cancer diagnosis and the kind of strength and resiliency you needed in order to combat and overcome the cancer. Good morning.
Good morning. Thank you so much for having me on. The Olympic journey has been amazing, but I would say the cancer fight has been the toughest thing I've ever had to do. I was diagnosed in early 2011 when I woke up from surgery to find out that I had a rare form of ovarian cancer, then went through chemotherapy, and really became an advocate for others in the cancer community, knowing that I didn't necessarily know what questions to ask. I completely missed the signs and symptoms of ovarian cancer. And so I wanted to be able to use my voice to help others. And you talk about strength, and I think talking with survivors, we realize that you never know how strong you can be until you just have to. It's that inner strength that helps you take that next forward step.
Tell me about that. So, you overcome ovarian cancer. What do you want women to know about their own health? Because based upon everything I've seen, all the research suggests the earlier you can find cancer, if it's in fact there, it's diagnosed, the better it is.
Absolutely. Early detection saves lives, leads to better outcomes. And what I want women to know is that there is no routine test for ovarian cancer. We have to listen to our bodies and speak up when something doesn't feel right, advocate for ourselves. It's one of the reasons why we're here in partnership with AbbVie to encourage women with ovarian cancer to ask about all of the tools in the tool chest, including biomarker testing, which is so important to unlocking this personalized care for specific types of ovarian cancer. And it's just important to know the information so that you can go in and ask those questions.
Thank you, Shannon. Dr. O'Malley, over to you. I want to talk to you about biomarker testing. I understand it's so important for patients with ovarian cancer. Can you talk a little bit about that?
Yeah, there's lots of different biomarkers. There's the gene biomarkers, and that's in all of our cells. That's in all of our tissue. We have to test those. But now what we also test is the tissue, is the cancer, those cells, looking for markers on those cells. And by identifying those unique biomarkers, we're able to then target or personalize the therapy for patients with cancer, specifically ovarian cancer in this instance.
Now, I understand that ovarian cancer is one of the deadliest forms of gynecologic cancer. Tell me specifically on how women are able to get biomarker testing.
I think, unfortunately, you really nailed it in that we have the deadliest GYN cancer. And unfortunately, most patients are diagnosed with advanced stages. And even though we're doing a much better job of curing people, still 70% of patients recur. So what's the best way? Talk to your healthcare provider. Talk to the whole healthcare team. There are now ways that we can send your tissue out, and as well as your blood or saliva, to get tested. So they can send it out. Many of our centers are actually doing these tests in-house now. So if you have ovarian cancer or a family member has ovarian cancer, make sure you're asking your healthcare provider, have I had these biomarkers? And if not, I want to get them done.
David, thank you. Shannon, final question to you. What message do you have for women perhaps going through a diagnosis like ovarian cancer or any other type of cancer or, struggle, a significant struggle, a challenge? What kind of message do you have there for them, Shannon?
Well, thank you. It's such a great question. I want anyone going through a challenge, whether it's a cancer diagnosis or anything else, know that you do not need to go through this fight alone. There's always a team and a community there ready to support you. So find that team, ask questions, and know that there is strength in seeking that support. And then if you are an ovarian cancer survivor and you want more information about biomarker testing, you can visit biomarkerboost.com.
Okay, Shannon Miller, David O'Malley, we really appreciate you joining us on the Digital Desk. Shannon, thanks for opening up to help others out there, perhaps going through their own struggles, their own challenges on this journey. And David, great information as well. We appreciate you both coming on the Digital Desk. Thank you. Good morning. Welcome back to the Action News 5 Digital Desk. There is a brand new book that is out right now on newsstands, and it is about baseball, Major League Baseball, 100 years ago in the Roaring 20s. And the man who wrote this book is joining me now on the Action News 5 Digital Desk. Thomas Wolfe joining me on the Digital Desk to talk about baseball in the Roaring 20s, the Yankees, the Cardinals, and the captivating 1926 season. Thomas, nice to meet you. Tell me what was behind you writing this book, kind of a historical, significant book, isn't it? Good morning.
Good morning. Good morning. Thank you for inviting me. I'm always glad to get up and talk about baseball, especially baseball in the 1920s and 1930s. I think two of the very best eras for Major League Baseball. What got me started on writing about 1926, oddly enough, was having written a book about the 1932 season. It's called The Called Shot and focused on Babe Ruth's called shot in the World Series of 1932 with the Yankees against the Cubs. And the Cubs, of course, during most of the 1932 season were managed by Rogers Hornsby, but he was fired in August in the middle of the pennant race. So in doing my research for 1932, I had to go back into the baseball histories of both Babe Ruth and Rogers Hornsby, and discovered that in 1926, Hornsby's Cardinals and Ruth's Yankees played in a very dramatic 7-game series. So what really got me started was the fact that I could finally write about the collision really of these two baseball greats and their careers, which happened in the World Series in 1926. So that's what drew me back. That's what got me started.
That sounds amazing. Certainly, I mean, such iconic figures. I mean, especially Babe Ruth. I mean, you know, you think about baseball around that time period, you can't help but think about Babe Ruth. And what I like, it's interesting, is that, you know, outside of the baseball diamond, so many different things happening in our country. Tell me how much that plays a part in the book.
Yeah, I wanted to make it clear to readers that, you know, a baseball season doesn't exist without some context. And the context in 1926 was that game was played in the middle of one of the most fascinating decades. Americans generally felt very optimistic about the future. They were relatively prosperous. 7 years had passed since the end of World War I. The Depression wasn't yet quite on the horizon. The end of the Roaring '20s kind of came to a crashing halt in 1929. But Americans were very exuberant because of radio. They were more tuned into baseball than they had been in the teens, and attendance had soared, largely due, I think, to Babe Ruth and the fact that Ruth was such a dynamic and charismatic figure. But you know, going back to Ruth and Hornsby was the greatest right-handed hitter of his generation, and Ruth was the greatest left-handed hitter of his generation. So the clash between the two of them in the World Series in 1926 kind of paralleled the excitement that was evident in the culture as a whole.
Yeah, and you had names like Ty Cobb, you had newcomers like Lou Gehrig as a part of this, also making it into the book. You know, a lot of times I love talking to authors, Thomas, because there's so much they know about the craft, and doing the research for something like this. I mean, you had to have learned some things that you weren't anticipating learning about. What was the biggest thing you learned, maybe unexpectedly, while doing research for this book?
Yeah, several things. I learned a lot about black baseball and black baseball history, which originally I just wanted to learn sort of for context, but then became part of the book. I also wanted to learn more about Grover Cleveland Alexander, who was really a remarkable player. Wound up his career with 373 wins, and he was the hero of the 1926 World Series at age 39. So those two sort of avenues of research into Alexander's background and into baseball history really were very enlightening to me. And the third thing would be the Cobb and Speaker scandal, alleged scandal, that became known to Judge Landis in 1926 and didn't impact play on the field, but certainly impacted the future of the game.
Fantastic. Okay, one more time. Baseball in the Roaring '20s, the Yankees, the Cardinals, the captivating 1926 season. Anything else you want to mention to our audience before we let you go, Thomas?
I would just like to mention to the audience that baseball was played kind of in parallel universes in 1926, and that there's a largely unwritten story about black baseball. I've tried to give a little window into that era and into black baseball in this book. But keep in mind that baseball in the 1920s was very different than baseball in the 2025 season, 2026 season coming up. So the eras are different. The charismatic figures of the 1926 are still the charismatic figures and the icons that we look back to. But there's a lot of baseball history that exists outside of what we know of as the white major leagues.
All right. Thomas Wolfe, the author of Baseball in the Roaring '20s. We appreciate your time on the Digital Desk. Thank you very much, and congratulations on the book. We appreciate your time.
Thank you, Andrew. It's been great.
Hey guys, Sydney Gray here on the Action News 5 Digital Desk. Thanks for sticking with us on this Thursday morning. We're going to get to your top stories. This is one that we have been covering for a few days now here in Memphis. Now, this is a story about a really heartbreaking one at the campus of Delta State University. Now, we know that police in Cleveland, Mississippi, they are actually investigating the death of a black student at DSU. He was found hanging from a tree. This is a story that we have been following for quite some time now. We will tell you more about this story. So police in Cleveland, this is a story about DeMar Travion Trey Reed. He was found dead about 7:30 Monday morning. Now, investigators say there is some video related to this incident, but they are not saying much more about what that video shows. In fact, there was just a press conference about this incident. At the university, the press conference involved the university's president, Dr. Dan Ennis, as well as the campus police chief. Now, the Bolivar County coroner says the actual incident happened sometime on Sunday, but police are not saying who discovered Reed's body or how the 21-year-old got on that tree. Now, Reed's uncle says that his nephew's life was taken far too soon. The coroner is also not ruling the death as a homicide nor suicide, but a death investigation at this time. He says that more information is going to be revealed once the autopsy is complete. Again, we did get this information just yesterday during a press conference that was held. Also, we did get a statement from civil rights attorney Ben Crump. He is representing the family. That statement is right there on your screen for you, and it reads right there for you. And it says, by demanding the family be allowed to view any video and commissioning an independent autopsy, we are taking every step to uncover the truth about what happened to Trey. Again, that is the statement from civil rights attorney Ben Crump. He is representing the family of Trey Reed, who died there at Delta State University. All right, now as we bring you some other news, this is getting it back here to Memphis. The city council members are planning to propose a resolution, this one urging Governor Bill Lee to stop National Guard troops from coming to Memphis. Obviously a big story we've been talking about for a couple weeks now. City council members are going to share the resolution later this morning and then vote on it in a council meeting. Now, Councilwoman Jerry Green, she is also running for Tennessee governor, and she says this takes away from efforts to end poverty. She says that, quote, decisions about Memphis should be made with us, not forced upon us by politicians who have never walked our streets. Also saying, quote, I stand ready to reject any attempts to undermine our democracy. Obviously, we have heard from Governor Bill Lee, who has discussed his many conversations with President Trump and how they are planning to work to bring federal enforcement here to Memphis, story that we're going to continue covering. All right, let's talk about some more local news going on. Take a look at this video. This is a fire that we were covering earlier this morning. It was from the Memphis Fire Department. They extinguished a warehouse fire near the Memphis International Airport. Thankfully, no injuries there to report. This is seen from East Brooks Road and Carrier Street from last night. We did reach out to MFD, hoping to learn more about what caused this fire. Obviously still under investigation, but as we get more info on that, we'll be sure to let you know. All right, here is another big story we've been following here on Action News 5 with a new school year underway. As we look ahead, Memphis Shelby County Schools, they've launched a new gun safety curriculum this month. It is now required under Tennessee law. So parents, listen up. You cannot opt out of this. Your kids must learn about this in school this school year. So as part of the rollout, MSCS will host 2 community forums. Now, the first is going to be a virtual family forum. It's about firearm safety. That one is going to be at 5:30. Again, this is virtual. This is for parents. You'll be able to ask questions, learn what you want to know about what your kids are learning in school when it comes to gun safety. Parents and guardians can join in, learn more about this curriculum, take part in the discussion, and you'll be able to see safe storage demonstrations from law enforcement. There's also going to be another event. This one's going to be tomorrow. That one will be in person at Dexter Middle School, I believe. All right, sad news to report. Take a look at that photo. That is longtime Memphis TV news and sports anchor Les Smith. He He died battling lung cancer. He worked here at WMC from 1983 to 85, even working at every TV news operation here in the Memphis market. He was 75 years old. All right, we've got to talk about this event that is going on involving Kroger and first responders teaming up to support the Mid-South Food Bank. Heroes Fight Hunger is today from 3 to 7. It's going to be at the Kroger and Poplar Plaza. I'm sure you know where that is, a very busy area. It's at the corner of Poplar and Highland. So shoppers will get a list of the 5 most needed items: pasta, canned veggies, meat, soups, and fruit, all those kind of things, which they can purchase and then donate to one of the agencies in the parking lot. Again, Kroger at Poplar Plaza. And then you will be able to donate. This, of course, benefits the Mid-South Food Bank. So a great effort that you can be a part of today from 3 to 7. All right, again, as we take a live look at downtown Memphis, really such a gorgeous look at downtown Memphis from our camera there. Clear skies, 74 degrees, 9:03 this morning. We're going to take a short break. We'll be right back. Stick with us right here on the Action News 5 Digital Desk. Hey there, can you hear me okay?
Yes, ma'am.
Awesome, awesome. I'm Sydney. I'll be with you in just a minute after this commercial break wraps up.
Great. Thanks, Sydney.
Awesome. Welcome back to the Action News 5 Digital Desk. I'm Sydney Gray in this morning, and we are so glad you're here with us. We're going to talk about a few different things going on today. So Lowe's is working to improve Catholic Charities with its volunteerism, and I've got a very special guest joining me today to talk more about that. And so let's get right on over to our very special guest this morning, George Nixon. George, thank you so much for being with us. How you doing today?
I'm fantastic, Sydney. Great to be with you.
Wonderful, wonderful. So let's talk about it. Tell me what you guys have going on with Catholic Charities.
So with the Lowe's coming tomorrow, it's really just been overwhelming. They not only have they given us a tremendous grant to beautify our campus, but they've gone over and above. Tomorrow they're bringing over 100+ volunteers to work on any number of projects. So much, and we're just overwhelmed by the amount of people that are going to be here, and really the spirit with which they're coming. For us, it really feels like a shot in the arm. You know, we spend so much time focusing on this community and serving others. It feels like somebody has recognized us and is coming down to really support us in the work that we're doing. The work that they do not only will beautify our campus and raising that sense of dignity for the people we serve, but also it's a really recognition of the hard work that all of our employees are doing every day and really putting value in that work. And we couldn't be more proud of this partnership we have with them.
If you could talk about how the partnership is going to help you guys do more work to help the community, can you kind of expand on that?
Yeah, I think, when I think about what they're doing, it's really a beautification project in a lot of ways. The funds that they've given us not only have supported some of the basic infrastructure that we have, or some of the basic repair needs that we have, but has really elevated the beauty of the campus. And when I think about the work that we're doing, we're really helping people who are having a hard time. And when they're welcomed into a place that's beautiful, the place that's dignified, right? It elevates that sense of self-worth. So it's really a mission-driven effort that we're getting from Lowe's. Again, it aligns exactly with what we're about every day.
What do you want people to know, I guess, so much about Catholic Charities and the work that Catholic Charities does every day?
Yeah, big things. If you were going to put it real simple in an elevator pitch, so to speak, what we do is we feed, we clothe, and we house people. Who we're here for is Memphis, right? Memphis has a number of needs, but it's also a tremendous community with tremendous goodwill. And a lot of what we do is we organize that goodwill for the support of our neighbors, helping them go from poverty to self-sufficiency.
You're talking about the beautification that's going to happen and all these volunteers that are going to be coming tomorrow. Can you kind of share why what it looks like makes such a difference in the work that y'all do?
Yeah, so if you can imagine, this is a place where we want it to be a place of welcome. A lot of those folks that we're serving are literally homeless, and as they're kind of walking throughout the city, many times they're kind of moved along, right? You can't stay here, you're not welcome here. What we want to make and have made here is a place of welcome, a place of respite, a place where trust and rapport, friendships can be built, really a place of support. So as Lowe's descends really on this campus with this army of volunteers, they're really helping us elevate that even further. So this becomes even more beautiful of a space, somewhere that you even more want to spend time, and have that sense of I'm welcome, I'm dignified, I have a home here.
George, if you could kind of share what other Memphians can do to maybe not so much get involved tomorrow, but get involved past tomorrow, past this weekend. What can they do to kind of help your organization?
So there's so many ways to be involved. I mean, certainly donations are huge, right? Sometimes I think people think donations are, oh, I'm just kind of almost like I'm like a cop out, like I'm just giving. But you got to think about donations are really a representative of your energy that you put out into the world to go and earn that money. And when you take some of that and you donate that to a good cause, you're really donating your life, your energy to that. It's almost as if you're working in that field alongside of us. So that's obviously a big one. And the second one is your time, right? Come down and be with us. Even if it's just to take a tour. One of the things that we focus a lot on is just bringing down people and showing them what we're doing. Because when we're walking through the campus and you're seeing the ministries that we're involved in, inevitably there's ideas that pop in your head of how you can get involved, or people that you could introduce us to that could be involved, how you could bring a group down. Those tours are amazing moments of brainstorming. So come down and visit us, or reach out to us and volunteer. You can volunteer on our front porch where we're serving over 200 people a day. We're looking for food and looking for friendship, or you can volunteer in a mobile pantry where we're serving over 22,000 families a month. There's any number of ways to get involved, but what I can guarantee you is whatever way you choose, you're going to get more out of it than you put in.
George, thank you so much. An amazing day ahead and a great partnership, obviously, between the Catholic Charities and Lowe's. Really excited for you guys. Anything else you want to add or say?
I'm just grateful for this opportunity. I'm not from Memphis originally. I've actually been here a little less than a year. And what they say about Tennessee being the volunteer state has rung true. And Memphis in particular, the amount of goodwill that I see here really inspires me. I know Memphis has its problems, but I know that this community believes in this city, and I know that we have a path forward. So I'm just grateful to be a part of it.
We love to hear it. George, thank you so much for your time. Have a great one.
You too. God bless.
All right, y'all. Thank you so much. Well, we are going to be right back with more of Action News 5 after this break.
Good morning. Welcome back to the Action News 5 Digital Desk. Loneliness and veterans' suicidal thoughts, well, they are on the increase. According to the Wounded Warrior Project's latest warrior survey, more than 1 in 4 wounded warriors, had suicidal thoughts within the past 12 months. Research shows that strong social ties not only improve quality of life, but also serve as a critical protective factor against these kinds of things. How is mental health among our veterans? It's so important to check up on them. Joining me on the Action News 5 Digital Desk, I'm going to talk more about this topic with a couple of people. I have Jacob Narowski. He's an Army veteran. He's a warrior there. I also am joined by Lindsay Tekat. She's a mental and brain health services director for the Wounded Warrior Project. Thank you for both of you joining us here on the Digital Desk. Jacob, I want to begin with you. Tell us about your mental journey. Good morning.
Good morning. You know, my mental journey really is, it's long. It's years. It's over 14 years spent hanging out the side of a Black Hawk helicopter in austere places all over the world, and seeing and experiencing things that most of us never even dream of. And then coming home, and you come home and those experiences become memories, become stories that come home with you. And so trying to find my place in the world here as a dad, as a husband, as a community member is difficult when you're still kind of holding on to or carrying those memories that come with you. And so it's been so important for me on this journey that people have found me, friends that have kind of carried me through those moments and given me the opportunity to carry them, and just to begin to build a life of connection over this journey.
Well, first off, I appreciate everything that you and your family have done for this country, what you've sacrificed, because there's so many veterans that sacrifice so much to defend what this country stands for overseas. How important was human connection to your overall recovery, Jacob?
Human connection for me, and like for so many other veterans, is absolutely vital. There has to be somebody that tells you when the demons are lying, as I sometimes say. You have to have people around you that can remind you of your worth, remind you that you're important, that you still have a mission, that there's still more for you to do. And so for me, having those brothers and sisters nearby and having those check-ins has just been absolutely vital. And then learning that I can be the one checking on them as well.
Lindsay, I want to thank you, Jacob. Lindsay, I want to talk with you. And listen, Wounded Warrior Project, it is such an amazing organization. And thank you for all that you do for all the veterans out there. You work specifically in the mental and brain health services. Tell me, when it comes to the biggest challenges that veterans face, what are some of those big challenges out there?
Yeah, great question. So if you take when somebody's transitioning back into civilian life and you look at some of those challenges, you have a situation where somebody was in a very structured environment. They had a support system built in of folks that were like-minded, that they can relate to and are doing the same things. And they had a clear sense of mission and purpose. And then that disappears. They then start to transition out. They lose that sense of purpose. They lose that sense of mission while they're trying to navigate, where are my benefits? What is my family dynamics, my financial situation? What's going to be my next job? And that can be a very overwhelming time for a veteran. And they may also be experiencing, symptoms of PTSD on top of that. And so having connection during that time is going to be so critical. Having that support system of like-minded individuals that might be going through it with you, or that have already went through it and can help shepherd, or as Jake said, be the one carrying you. You mentioned our survey. Our survey showed that for wounded warriors who had listed isolation or that lack of connection as a symptom that they were experiencing, they were 3 times more likely to have had suicidal thoughts in the past 12 months. So connection is key.
No question about it. Jake, and I really appreciate you opening up, telling your story to help others. Lindsay, quickly, where can, if perhaps one of our viewers has a family member who's struggling right now, where can they go for help?
I think it's great that you mentioned family member, right? You do not have to be a mental health expert to help somebody who's struggling or to help yourself if you're struggling. I'd recommend going to woundedwarriorproject.org. We're there to support. We stand by ready to connect you to programs, connect you to services, and help build that foundation of connection.
All right, Jacob and Lindsay, we appreciate your time here on the Digital Desk. God bless you both, and thank you for your time.
Thanks for joining us here on the Action News 5 Digital Desk here on a Thursday morning, which features another air quality alert, a code orange. Unhealthy for some, doesn't mean for all, but understand it's not just going to be for the metro area. It really does extend itself across much of the Action News 5 coverage area. We're still in this very stagnant air mass that has been kind of brought in with some wildfire smoke from the west and Canada. That coupled with not a lot of wind to blow it around and just our daily carbon monoxide and dioxide emissions here across the Mid-South, well, that's adding to some issues. So that's going to be a problem for us again here today, but there could be some help on the way by way of a front approaching us to help to kind of scour things out just a little bit. Temperatures will top out in the middle 90s here today, actually nearing a record high today, 99 set back in 2019. Feels like temperatures will approach 100. So again, while we have been hotter, I just want to remind you that this is atypical for this time of the year. We're running about 10 degrees above average for this time of the year. So a reminder to drink plenty of hydrating fluids, wear light, loose-fitting clothing, breaks to the shade or indoors, and of course checking in on groups of folks who may not have adequate access to cooling relief. And even with the front on the move, we'll start to see a little dip in temperatures back to the lower 90s, still above average for this time of the year as we head through Friday and Saturday. But you do notice a couple of more chances for rain coming in our direction, which we desperately need. There may be more in the extended range as we head into the next, say, 7 to 10 days across the region. Let's take a look at our first alert futurecast. And again, we're going to start this off now on Friday. So today should be carbon copy of what you saw yesterday. Tomorrow we'll start off with a few clouds, becoming mostly cloudy for a period, and a chance for some showers and thunderstorms to erupt. Now, understand there may be a few storms that get a little feisty, some gusty winds, frequent lightning type of situation, maybe some small hail, not completely off of the table here for Friday afternoon and early evening hours. But this could have some implications for Friday football fever games here across the Mid-South. If it's not actively raining at 7 o'clock, 6 o'clock, whenever the games begin here across the region, it may be a wet field that could be impacting you. So that's something else that we'll be watching through the course of the day. Temperatures will ease their way from the 90s back through the 60s to start off early on Saturday morning. Lots of stuff going on this upcoming weekend here across the Mid-South. We've got the Mid-South Balloon Festival in Rossville. We've got the Broom Corn Festival over in Selmer. We've got Memphis Tigers at home, Ole Miss Rebels at home. We've got the Runway 5K at the Memphis International Airport. That will be happening Saturday morning. So I think the weather should cooperate for the most part, but we get towards 2-3 o'clock in the afternoon on Saturday, there could be a few isolated spotty downpours developing amid a mixture of clouds and sunshine. Yes, in the low 90s we go. Speaking of the Memphis Tigers going up against the Arkansas Razorbacks, taking the road trip down here to the city of Memphis after a road trip to Oxford last weekend. We'll see how this one plays out. 11 a.m. kickoff over at Simmons Bank Liberty Stadium. Temperatures will ease their way up to the low 90s, partly sunny skies, and an afternoon shower can't be ruled out. At 2:30, the kickoff for the Ole Miss Rebels in the Tulane Green Wave. Low 90s also, partly cloudy skies. Can't rule it out that there could be a shower. I think maybe a slightly lower chance in North Mississippi on Saturday afternoon comparatively to maybe West Tennessee and Eastern Arkansas. I do want to give you a first alert, though, as we head through the upcoming weekend. I think we get through this period fairly quiet. There's a little nudge of warmer air trying to build in our direction for Saturday into Sunday, but that will be short-lived. There's a big area of low pressure off to the north that will be dropping in, and that was what is going to help to facilitate a drop in temperatures, more clouds, and better chances for rain, hopefully, as that upper low pivots in our direction, so that we'll have at least some chances for rain coming back into the fold as we head through the coming days. In the meantime, though, again, fairly quiet for us here today. 96 nearing a record high, 92 tomorrow, as well as Saturday and Sunday. A mixture of clouds and sunshine through the weekend. Again, a slightly better chance for a few afternoon showers and storms on Friday. A few spotty opportunities on Saturday and Sunday. Pick back up another rain chance as we head towards Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday of next week, possibly even Thursday, Friday, just depending on how long this upper low gets cut off from the main flow pattern. And as that happens, typically these orphan lows, they bring us more clouds, cooler temperatures, and the occasional opportunity for some showers. Maybe not a lot, but something that will get us along as we head into the first week of fall, as fall officially begins 1:19 in the afternoon on Monday afternoon.
Hey, Jennifer, can you hear me? Oh. Hey, Jennifer, can you hear me?
I can. Can you hear me?
Yes, yes. We'll come to you in about 4-ish minutes, 4.5.
Thank you so much.
Awesome.
Good morning. Welcome back to the Action News 5 Digital Desk. We have an amazing event that is happening later this month. We are talking about the St. Jude Walk. It's happening downtown. It's September 27th. Always a great time. And fortunately, this year, Ariana Poindexter, my co-anchor in the morning, along with me, I have the privilege of also being an MC this year. And joining me on the digital desk, I'm joined by two parents, Craig and Ashley. They have a child, my understanding is, at St. Jude. Good morning to you both. Tell me a little bit about your situation.
Good morning.
So we do. We have a son, Ingram. He is a patient at St. Jude. And it started with his preschool calling when he was 3.5 years old. And they called to say that something had happened on the playground. They said that he had a headache and that he was holding the back of his head and just kind of crying. Nobody saw him fall, so they didn't really know what was going on. So I went and picked him up from preschool, and I saw that afternoon what they were talking about. He kind of held the back of his head back here, and he was crying for about 20-30 seconds, but then was fine. It happened a few more times over the next few days, and each time it got progressively worse, and he got sick with it. So after talking to our pediatrician, they were thinking he might have migraines, but we would need to get a CAT scan. So the next day, after being with the pediatrician, we went to get a CAT scan. And then later that afternoon, they called and said that Ingram might have a brain tumor.
And that was back in 2012. And so we've had a long journey with that, and with St. Jude, and been a patient there ever since. And Ingram is 16 today and doing outstanding. But we've had a long journey with St. Jude, and really love what they do.
Absolutely. Wow. Well, listen, I appreciate both of you, Craig and Ashley, for opening up to us and our audience. We have thousands of people who watch us each and every morning on the digital desk. Tell me, is your son still getting treatment at St. Jude?
Yeah, no. So his treatment protocol lasted about 6 months to 9 months. He was, and he had a very aggressive type of cancer. It's called anaplastic ependymoma. It's a brain tumor. And so St. Jude actually developed a unique protocol, treatment protocol for him because of how aggressive it was. But that lasted about 9 months total. And then he has not had treatment since then. But we go every year for checkups, to meet with his primary oncologist, and for them to monitor different parts of his growth as he continues to grow after all the treatment and whatnot. So.
Excellent, excellent. You know, a lot of times when patients are a part of St. Jude and the life-saving care that they give each and every day throughout the years, a lot of times they want to be a part of giving back and being on the staff in some form or fashion. Has he ever talked to you about that?
Yeah, he has. So his primary doctor is Dr. Amar Gajar, who's outstanding, one of the best in the world at pediatric brain tumors. And Ingram he's a junior in high school, and he has indicated that he's interested in oncology. And so he's looking at programs, undergraduate programs that could get him to that type of career. But he specifically would like to do what Dr. Gajar does.
That's fantastic. I love that. What a great story there. You know, we are, as you heard in the introduction, my co-anchor and I are going to be a part of the St. Jude Walk later this month, September 27th at Tom Lee Park. Have you guys taken part of that? If so, you know, tell me your experiences.
Yes, we have been involved with it, with the walk for about 3-4 years now, maybe. And it is so much fun. The people who come down for the walk, I feel like it's almost a version of a family reunion because people just do it year after year after year. And it's not something that you have to go out and train for. It's literally getting your family together, getting your church group, your people at work, companies. It's such a community event.
Yeah, I agree. I enjoyed it when I was a part of it a couple of years ago. It's almost like a celebration. You know, it's a celebration of not only having a gem like St. Jude Children's Research Hospital in our backyard, but also just a celebration of the life-saving care they give throughout the year for so many thousands of families, not charging families a dime. What do you want to say to the people who are watching us right now that perhaps they want to join, or maybe they're on the fence about joining this walk on September 27th at Tom Lee Park?
Yeah, I'd say join us. It's a great day. You don't have to be a marathon runner. You can come out and walk. Some people run fast. Some people go slowly. It just depends. You can do whatever you want to do. It's a day of celebration. And I would just say, look, childhood cancer sucks. There's not a real eloquent way to say that. But what St. Jude does is amazing. And we have, in downtown Memphis, you have a team of people who are changing the way the world understands and treats cancer. And the world is a better place because of what they're doing downtown. It's in our backyard. And it's a day where we can go out and celebrate what they're doing. We can go out and support them. And to me, it's just a lot of fun to be able to take pride in something that's going on here in Memphis that's really impacting the world for the better.
Okay, the St. Jude Walk, September 27th at Tom Lee Park downtown. You can register by going to stjude.org and be a part of the fun. Thousands of people are going to be there, and it's always a great celebration. Craig and Ashley, thank you for coming on the digital desk, talking about your story. God bless you and your family, and I look forward to seeing you on September 27th at Tom Lee Park downtown. We appreciate your time this morning.
Thank you very much for having us.
Hey, Jennifer, can you hear me?
All set.
All right, we literally are going to come to you in the next 40 seconds.
Standing by.
Welcome back to the Action News 5 Digital Desk. I'm Sydney Gray on this Thursday morning where there's a lot going on always across the Mid-South, but we've got a nice event to tell you about today, one that involves a little bit of dancing. There is a community workshop going on, and my good friend Jennifer McGrath is going to join us this morning to talk all about it. Here to join us, and there she is. Jennifer, how you doing today?
Very well, thanks. Good morning, Sydney.
Good morning. Thank you so much. So, Jennifer, you're with the Orpheum. Let's talk about this, a community dance workshop. This sounds like fun.
Oh, it's going to be a fantastic time. So we are very excited to be presenting Tablao Flamenco on the Halloran Center stage at the Orpheum. And so there's actually a full public performance on Thursday, September 25th at 7:30. But to get people excited and to get people in the mood, and as part of our commitment to arts accessibility, you're absolutely right that the evening before Wednesday, September 24th, we are offering a completely free community dance workshop. It is for all ages and abilities. So you don't have to have any experience with flamenco dancing. If you're curious or if you're a seasoned pro, we really want to meet everybody exactly where they are, and we want them to come down and explore this incredible art form.
This sounds wonderful, first of all. I love that you're saying meet people where they are. And so can you expand on that a little bit more? Because I'm hearing that, but I know for people who might be a little bit nervous, they have no dance experience, or they have maybe some challenges that might hinder them from dancing. Can you expand on that just a bit more?
Absolutely, absolutely. This is part of the Orpheum and the Halloran Center's commitment to ensuring that everybody has access to quality arts education, no matter what, right? We always say there's almost no need that can't be met. And we've had a lot of success with doing these free community dance workshops in the past, when Alvin Ailey was here, when the Syncopated Ladies were here, when Dance Theater of Harlem was here. And so for anybody that might be feeling nervous, like you said, it is truly all ages and abilities. We have young people as young as 3, or even, parents with babies in their arms dancing, all the way up to aunties, uncles, grannies, grandpas, and the like. And so age is not a barrier, and it's really, really a foundational community class, right? We specifically call it a community class because that is what it's about. It's not about necessarily perfecting your technique or becoming a flamenco or a dance star overnight. It's about coming together in community to explore and be curious about this new art form that maybe some people know a lot about and that maybe some people have never heard of, but it's a very passionate art form. As you can see in the footage, it fuses music and dance. It's traditions that come from southern Spain, but it's really a cultural hodgepodge. It was, flamenco was developed out of a sort of blending and mixing of cultures, not unlike what we have right here in Memphis that creates our art. So it's a really accessible point. Like I said, if you're a seasoned pro or if you've never done this before, the emphasis is on community, on curiosity, on coming together. And that's also why we offer it completely free. We want people to have access to it. We don't want there to be any barriers. And then, of course, the hope is that you would have such a good time at the free workshop on Wednesday that you would come back on Thursday and see this incredible performance. It's one night only, but when I tell you they are going to tear it up in the Halloran Center, I mean, it is just such a passionate, vibrant, beautiful art form that is really going to feel like you're transported to southern Spain.
Jennifer, I feel the passion, and I'm so excited for it. This sounds like an amazing time. Can you kind of tell us how this all came together and just what made you guys want to do something like this?
Sure, sure. So about a year ago now, we sort of reevaluated the programming that was happening in the Halloran Center, and we rebranded to be called Halloran Center Presents. And so we were continuing to bring the best in Memphis music and to lift up local artists, but we also wanted to expand the offerings on the season. So now instead of only doing music, we're also doing magic, and we're doing theater and dance and comedy and immersive arts, all sorts of things, right? This Tablao Flamenco is part of our commitment, which we're trying to do now, which is to bring the best in international art offerings from all over the world right here to Memphis, while also lifting up our incredible local community and local artists. So this is really the best of both worlds because, like I said, local folks right here in Memphis are going to have the chance to engage with these incredible artists from Spain and from all over the world. And so it's really a beautiful cross-cultural exchange. And that's what we're trying to do on our stage. We're trying to create access to all different forms of art and also show off a little bit of Memphis and what we've got going on here.
I love it. Is there anything else the folks need to know about registering, making sure that they can get to this event? What do they need to know?
Beautiful. So orpheum-memphis.com, you can get all of the information on the Tablao Flamenco page. You're absolutely right that the workshop on Wednesday is free and accessible to all, but we do strongly suggest advanced registration because the capacity is limited. It's a large capacity, but if you definitely want to secure your spot, we do encourage you to pre-register. It's just a quick, simple form online so that we have a count of how many people are coming. And then, of course, the tickets for the show on Friday are still available online. Again, the performance is at 7:30 in the Halloran Center on Thursday, and you can purchase those tickets online or, of course, at the door as well.
All right. Well, Jennifer, thank you so much for your time. Jennifer McGrath with the Orpheum and Halloran Center. We appreciate you so much for being here on the Action News 5 Digital Desk. Great to have you. Great info. I'm excited. I know it's going to be an amazing event that I know so many are looking forward to. Thanks again.
Thanks so much for having me.
All right, wonderful, wonderful. Well, we are going to get right on back to our commercial break here, but don't go anywhere. There is so much more Action News 5 coming up after this break.
All right, back here in the Action News 5 Digital Desk, the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention has launched a brand new campaign I want to tell you about. This campaign is to help educate youth, prevent substance abuse, and combat overdose deaths. In fact, this campaign, it's called Free Mind, provides information and resources to youth between the ages of 12 to 17 and their parents and caregivers about substance abuse, mental health, and the connection between the two. Joining me now on the Action News 5 Digital Desk, I am joined by Dr. Grant Baldwin. He is the director of the CDC Division of Overdose Prevention. And Grant, tell me about some of the reasons behind this campaign and how prevalent is substance abuse and mental health linked. Good morning.
Yeah, good morning. Pleasure to be here. So as our teens experience stress, anxiety, worry, and even bouts of depression, we need to make sure that they're turning away from substance use and turning towards healthy coping. We're in the midst of a mental health crisis. We know that 4 in 10 American high schoolers report persistent feelings of sadness and hopelessness lasting for over a couple of weeks, and 1 in 5 have reported contemplating suicide. And there's real consequences if you do use substances in the here and now and long term. In the here and now, we all are aware of the impact of fentanyl. Fentanyl is widely available and laced into counterfeit pills, and the use of substances that contain fentanyl can be lethal on a single use. And long term, we know that substance use initiation in the teen years can lead to problematic use and even addiction in adulthood, as well as a range of other health problems.
So tell me, what are the warning signs, Grant, when it comes to this type of abuse, that mental wellness and drug abuse or substance abuse that it seems to be so prevalent these days? What are the warning signs for parents out there?
Yeah, I'm a parent myself, and we all know our teens the best. So you should look for things like change in mood, unusual irritability. Maybe they're more withdrawn than they usually are. Once they're back in school, maybe their school performance changes, sudden weight loss or weight gain. All of these things are signs that our teens are struggling with their mental health. And we need to set up as parents a kind of a judgment-free zone to have open-ended, crucial conversations with them in ways that they can both feel our unconditional love and safe, and long-term for us to be able to connect them to a licensed professional counselor or social worker, or if necessary, to even call a crisis line like 988.
I'm a parent as well, Grant. I mean, is it the phones? Is it all the screen time? I mean, what's causing it? Do we know?
Yeah, it's a combination of things, but you flagged a couple of things that are absolutely a part of it. It's some of the social isolation that came out of the pandemic, but as well as the increased amount of time on our phones and social media, and the impact that has on the mental health of our teens.
So let's talk about this Free Mind campaign that's going on. How can we all get involved, and how can we help the current situation? Because it's at crisis level, wouldn't you say?
Yeah, so that's one of the main reasons we developed Free Mind. So for parents and caregivers, we have fact sheets and conversation starters to begin to have some of the crucial conversations that we spoke about. For teens themselves, it's a campaign focused on empowerment and personal agency. Teens are really the captains of their own ship, if you will. The goal here is for teens to understand that the risks of substance use on brain development, but more importantly, that it's okay to not be okay, and to reach out to a parent or caregiver to ask for help, because they are in a position to make some of those connections to get you the help you need. You can go to cdc.gov/free mind for more information. For teens, it includes an interactive gaming app, a graphic novel, a bunch of things that are kind of teen speak, if you will. Again, folks should check out that website for more information about how they can make sure that their teens' mental health is okay, and to set themselves up for success this school year.
Give us the website one more time, Grant.
Yeah, again, it's cdc.gov/free mind.
All right, Dr. Grant Baldwin with the CDC Overdose Prevention Division. We appreciate your time on the Digital Desk. Thank you for spelling out this new campaign, Free Mind, that we desperately need to help our youth out there. Thanks for your time on the Digital Desk. Good morning. Welcome back to the Action News 5 Digital Desk. I want to show you this. This is a brand new book out, and it is from native Memphian Loretta McNary. And in it, there are all kinds of different uplifting, positive messages, like you are valued, you are needed, you are enough. And this book, Live Like You Believe, in just a few weeks, has inspired readers all the way from Florida to Dubai, sparking personal transformation, book club discussions, and women's retreats. I'm joined on the Action News 5 Digital Desk by Loretta herself. She is joining us to talk a little bit about this book. And Loretta, good morning to you. Tell me why you wrote this book.
Good morning, Andrew. Thank you so much for this amazing opportunity. The book actually wrote me. I thought I was just putting my thoughts down. I actually started 2 other books prior to this book and didn't want to edit because that meant I had to finish it and follow through. I wasn't quite ready, nor was God ready for those books to be released. So my uncle, Robert Shorter, he was admitted to the ICU in April. 4 days later, he died. But while he was in the ICU, the Lord gave me this vision that he was living while he was dying. He was well aware he was dying, but he was living. He was singing. He was talking to us. He was telling us to prepare everything. And it was sad and happiness at the same time. So I went home trying to digest it and just put those other 2 books aside and started writing this book. God gave me the term, Live Like You Believe. I wrote it in like 12 hours, 14 hours, trademarked the name, and here we are. Had it professionally edited, created the cover myself. My son and I decided that we would go with this, no picture, no anything, and here we are. Live Like You Believe, to tell people in the crushing, in the shrinking, you got to stop it. You are still loved. You're still valued. Everything that's within you, every dream you have, is still accessible and reachable. You just got to deal with your hurt and quit shoveling more hurt on top of hurt without dealing with it.
So, Loretta, a lot of times people write books about themselves or their life lessons. Who did you write this book for? And, we have thousands of people who watch each and every morning here on the Digital Desk. Who is it for out there, Loretta?
Initially, Andrew, it was for women who I knew were showing up day after day, being there for everybody and going home and crying and in despair and sad. And then they get up in the morning and they repeat. What I found out by conversations and feedback, men are this book is resonating with them too. They're saying, that's my story. Loretta, how did you know? They take the book everywhere. It's been on airplanes, on beaches. It's in Australia now. It's in Japan now. Because once people read it, they identify with it, and then it becomes their anthem song as well. So I wrote it for me to heal, but the book ended up healing, countless other people as well.
So a lot of times when people will write something, they can only put a small portion in the book, but the topic or the subject matter, they know much more than what they can fit in this book. Where did all this information come from? Where is this your life story? Is it your life lessons? How do you approach something like this kind of project?
Well, I knew I wanted to, it was therapy for me at first, right? I was writing my Queen Esther season, and the Lord turned it into something that I had to really be vulnerable and transparent, and other to help heal and initiate conversations about healing and shrinking and imposter syndrome and giving up on your dreams. So I wanted to make sure I told stories that were relevant. Like my story is the first chapter. And then there's a story of Queen Esther and how, she was taken from her home and she was put into a position to save other people. And she could literally be killed for it. And so I wanted to not like be killed for it, but I wanted to be in a position where I could help other people with my story and do something that moves the needle to peace and happiness and joy in a person's life right where they are today, without tons of accolades and money and people calling their name, but they got to have it themselves. And so I just started writing. And once the accolades, the comments start coming in, it had to be a conference so that people had a place to go for more and to really deal with this new version of who they are and who they want to be.
You know, a lot of people might ask, okay, Loretta, you know, it's a self-help book. You know, I see them all the time on the bookshelves. What makes yours different?
I don't call it a self-help book because that's the problem that got us here. We're trying to help ourselves individually, isolated. This is a book that creates community. Yes, I can relate to this. Yes, I'm performing inspiration. I'm performing like everything is okay. Everything is not okay. And this book gives you permission to not be okay, but not to stay there. You have to do the work. You have to heal. You have to rise, and you are called to lead, whether it's your family, on your job, in your church, or just yourself. And as you can see, that little baby right there, there's actually one of my not my grandbaby, but a cousin's cousin's baby. And so the baby was blessing the book too. So everybody who touches it, they receive some kind of energy from it, not being psycho blablo, but just it's special. It's not just your ordinary self-help book.
If you could give a reader maybe one takeaway from your book in a sentence, what would it be, Loretta?
Everything that you've ever gone through that shook you, broke you, caused you to smile, gave you joy, and then shook you and broke you again is all needed so that you are stronger, you're wiser, you yourself learn to love yourself so that you can rinse and repeat for somebody else, the next person that's broken that you'll meet. You can give them courage and inspiration.
All right, Loretta McNary, author of Live Like You Believe on the Action News 5 Digital Desk. Congratulations on writing this book and all of your success. We appreciate your time, and best of luck in the future.
Thank you, Andrew, and the same to you. You're so incredibly amazing in our community. We appreciate you for telling these stories that can't be told without you, so thank you.
Well, I appreciate those comments, Loretta. Thank you very much.
Any questions you have? Hello, can you hear us? She's on mute. I think you're on muted. I think you're muted. Let's see. How much time do you have from the break? Say something now. Hello, hello?
Yes.
Oh, there we go. We hear you. How are you?
I'm well. How are you?
Great, great. This is Ariana Poindexter. I'll be doing the interview with you today.
Great.
Could you tell me how to pronounce your last name?
Sure. It's Zahariadis.
Zahariadis.
Just pronounce each letter.
Perfect. And we will get started in about 4 minutes at 10 o'clock.
Okay, wonderful.
In for a treat. So many things happening this week. Kicking off tomorrow, the Shell and Will series. It's on a go. It's on the run here. And we have our friend Shelby Smith joining us on the Action News 5 Digital Desk to tell us all about the great events lined up for this week. Good morning to you.
Good morning. Like you said, we have a jam-packed week and weekend of music and live entertainment here at the Overton Park Shell, and it all kicks off literally starting tomorrow during our Shell Yeah benefit series featuring Big Crit and a local rapper and talented songwriter and art curator. His name is Dame Mufasa. He comes from our underground scene, so very excited to bring him onto the stage alongside Big Crit. And the best part of that Shell Yeah benefit series is that it does empower all of our free concerts. So your dollars are going to like a great place. You're sustaining the magic of music and music accessibility and arts accessibility here at the Overton Park Shell. So that's definitely tomorrow. Make sure you get your tickets well in advance. We'll be selling tickets here, but you still have to purchase them online through Ticketmaster. So definitely, if you want to make sure you have a seamless entry, go ahead and get those tickets today. We'll have food trucks, and again, fantastic show to kick off a very packed weekend of music here at the Overton Park Shell as well. Like I said, on Friday, the Orion Financial Free Concert Series continues with DJ AD and the Vibe Tribe. If you have not caught DJ AD out spinning, local DJ, if you've been at probably any wedding in the city of Memphis, you've likely run into DJ AD. Such a powerhouse, and she is going to be joined by Hope Claiborne and a couple other artists just bringing that magic to the Overton Park Shell stage. Definitely make sure you have on your dancing shoes for that one, because I know I'm going to be out on the dance floor, so I hope you will as well. And then following up that, closing out the weekend on Saturday, we will have the Princeton James Productions. Kind of think of it as a mixture of like what the Stax Music Academy performance would look like, but also tying in live theater, poetry. They're bringing in just a lot of different talented young artists and seasoned veterans within our arts and culture scene in the city of Memphis. So that is going to close out our weekend on Saturday. But as mentioned, we're still rocking and rolling with all the great music experiences here at the Overton Park Shell. From our Orion Financial Free Concert Series to our Shell Yeah Benefit Series, there's plenty for people to enjoy, and we're just excited to continue bringing the good vibes to the city of Memphis as always.
Look at that. I have the flyer circulating right here on your screen, so you can take a picture and write down all that information, mark your calendar. So many great events happening at the Overton Park Shell, and as that flyer said, Shell Yeah, and I can agree with that. It's so much fun. It brings so much excitement, and the best part is this is free, right? Do I have that right?
So our Shell Yeah Benefit Series, that is a ticketed show. Like I said, it does empower our free concert series. But the 2 weekend shows featuring DJ AD and the Vibe Tribe and Princeton James Productions, those are absolutely free. So you come, bring whatever you need to have a great time. You can bring your own food. You can bring your own drinks. You can bring table, bring your mom, bring your dad, bring your cousin, bring your aunties. Bring whatever you need just to have a great experience here on our lawn. But definitely make sure if you want to come to our Shell Yeah Benefit Series featuring Big Crit and Dame Mufasa on Thursday, September 18th. So that's tomorrow. Definitely make sure to purchase those tickets in advance.
All right, a family-friendly event. So glad you clarified that. You have all the information here. Shelby Smith breaking that down for us on the Action News 5 Digital. In for a treat. So many things happening this week, kicking off are 60 seconds out. All right, we are about 60 seconds out, Ellen.
Okay.
Okay. 3 seconds. Showtime. Stinger is to you. All right, everyone. 10 o'clock is the time on this Thursday. Ariana Poindexter here at the Action News 5 Digital Desk. And if you join us for Action News 5 midday every now and then, you are very well acquainted with the next guest. We have Miss Ellen Zahariadis from the Memphis Humane Society, and she has some exciting things to chat with us about. Hi there, Ellen.
Hi, how are you?
I am wonderful. Thank you so much for joining us. So, of course, I feel like you guys always have something exciting going on with the Memphis Humane Society. And today we're talking about Paw Prints, which is such a big event. Tell us a little bit about it.
Absolutely. Paw Prints is our largest annual fundraiser. It's a really delightful event. We hold it here at the shelter. We have a extremely large tent put on our grounds outside. And if you've ever been to the Humane Society, you know how beautiful our campus is. And we are really, it's a time where everyone comes together and we celebrate the great work that everyone has done to try to save animals in Memphis and Shelby County. family throughout the year. And we get to really embrace that and celebrate the animals that we've been able to save and bring, animal lovers together for a night that not only celebrates animals, but it also raises much needed money to be able to care for them and to continue the services that we have throughout Memphis and Shelby County.
Absolutely. And talk a little bit about the need for one, of course, this sort of fundraiser and the funds in order to do the services that you guys do every single day. What's that need like here in Memphis and Shelby County?
The need is huge. We unfortunately have to turn animals away almost every day just because we are constantly at capacity at our shelter. We need the funds to be able to work with the animals to get them ready for adoption, to get them adopted so we can take more animals in. And we have a lot of different programs to help us expand our capacity, like our foster program. We have a wonderful foster manager, Tarika Bolden, who has created a lot of new programs that have created foster homes so that we can expand our capacity outside the shelter. But we have to have funds to be able to do that. We have to have funds to be able to take in those injured, those sick animals and be able to care for them here in our own vet clinic with our veterinarian. We need funds to be able to work with animals that have been neglected or abused and help them regain trust with humans again. And we get to see that every day here, but it takes a lot of money, it takes a lot of people, it takes a lot of community support.
Awesome. And talk a little bit about the experience, because I've not been, I hope to go, but I hear it's fabulous. So what can people expect inside? We're looking at some images there of previous years. And I'm just curious, what's the experience like?
Oh, it's wonderful. You come in and the whole campus is lit up. It's beautiful here. It's in the evening. You come into this great tent. And with this event this year, our event this year is sponsored by Bright Investments. And so we are so excited to have them join us, to have this be a super exciting event. We have a live auction, we have a silent auction, we have a wonderful, we have signature cocktails for everyone. We have delicious food from Donaldson Catering that truly, when we went for a tasting, was almost a spiritual experience. So I would encourage everybody to come and enjoy that. And we get to see, a wonderful video, a compilation of all the animals that we've helped and the work that we've done over the year. People who attend get to have, behind the scenes tours of the Humane Society, places that people don't normally get to go to. But we are so proud of our shelter and we're so proud of our operations and the way that we approach animal welfare, that we want to show everybody everything that we've got. So it's really a wonderful time to people to get to see the behind the scenes thing. They get to see our training boards. They get to see how our dog trainer is working with each of the animals to teach them different techniques to work on them with any maybe problems that they may have regarding like separation anxiety or something like that. You get to see all of that and all of the work that goes into preparing our animals for adoption to be out in loving homes forever.
That sounds amazing, Ellen. All right, so if anyone is watching this and they're wondering, I want to go, I'm sold, what do I need to do? How do I get tickets? What do people need to know?
Absolutely. They need to know that, one, it's September 27th, so not this weekend, but the next. And you can go to our website. Now, we are, at the moment, I believe, sold out, but sometimes tickets become available. So I would encourage everyone to go to our website, which is memphisHumane.org, and just periodically come back and check to see if we have any tickets available. You can also participate by making a donation to the Humane Society. You can join us afterward and you can get to see the video that we've created for the event. And honestly, if you ever want to come by and get a behind the scenes tour of the shelter, just come by, give us a call, and we're happy to do that for you. But I would say for people to check back in on the website and to please go ahead and make a donation. You can be there with us in spirit. You can support the animals. You can support the Humane Society and the vital work we're doing in our community through our vet clinic, through our pet food pantry, and through all the other programs and services that we offer.
All right, Ellen, thank you so much. So again, Paw Prints on September 27th. I know it's going to be a great event. And of course, we appreciate you and all the work that you're doing. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you.
All right, take care.
Thanks.
We'll be right back.
Good morning. Welcome back to the Action News 5 Digital Desk. All right, let me ask you out there, how many times have you heard people say, well, it's too expensive to fly out of Memphis. I can't really fly anywhere because it's just too expensive. I can't afford it. Well, I have got the interview for you this morning. On the Action News 5 Digital Desk, am happy to bring on Aisling Woolley. She is a Memphian, and she has created this business to get people to fly in and out of Memphis at very low cost to you, the consumer. And I, from what I understand, I've done a little research, Aisling, that it is a combination of points and timing that is so effective in allowing people to travel not just anywhere in the country. We're talking anywhere in the world. So I'm happy to have you on the Action News 5 Digital Desk, where we have thousands of people watch each and every morning. Tell me, how are you? Good morning.
I'm good. Thanks for having me. I'm really excited to tell Memphis all about what I do.
Awesome. Awesome. Okay, so first things first, tell us a little bit about yourself. How long have you been here? How did you come up with this idea? And how has it evolved over time?
Absolutely. So I'm actually not native to Memphis, but I moved here back in 2020. And obviously when I moved here, no one was traveling. But slowly as the world began opening up, I started asking my friends, my coworkers, people at church, where are the best places to travel from Memphis? Because I knew where I came from, there were places that were a lot cheaper than others. And consistently I got hit the same brick wall of information saying, you just can't afford to travel from Memphis. Memphis is way too expensive. It used to be amazing and it's not anymore. And so most people can't afford it. And first I was discouraged, and then with a lot of stubbornness in me, I did some research and ended up really finding that if you are able to time everything correctly, and if you're looking for flights in the right places, you can make travel so much more affordable. So back in 2021, I just started an Instagram account posting fun flights I was finding for myself and put it out into the Instagram world. And then in 2023, I shifted that into a business where I'm able to consistently share amazing flight deals from Memphis and, like you said, to all over the world. A lot of people, when they hear that, they think these must be crazy layovers, like a ton of layovers, or have to stay there for a long time, or that they're all on budget airlines. And that is just not true. I'm consistently finding deals that I would be willing to take myself. So there are short layovers, or only one layover, or nonstop options, and consistently on major airlines, with some budget airlines thrown in there for people who really do like a good deal. So that's kind of how it started. And then it turned into so much more. I realized the more I shared about how to make travel accessible, that I was actually only sharing a piece of what I do. I use cheap flights all the time, but we actually use credit card points to pay for the majority of our travels. So even though I do find amazing cash fares out of Memphis, I have since expanded it to be helping people to use credit card points to travel for free consistently. So it's kind of changed, but we're still starting, like I still have all the amazing deals, but we're morphing to give you more flights for less money.
Fantastic, Ashleen. And I want to let our viewers know about your website. This is it, 901flights.com. And it kind of talks a little bit about how you're able to save people money with flight alerts, points, and other things. You have a strategy involved that talks about, you know, how you're able to get these flights from anywhere in the world, as you mentioned, as we've been talking about. What is the biggest surprise to you? Because this is relatively new. You've been doing this for a couple of years, 3 years. What is the biggest surprise to you that you found coming up with these different strategies?
The biggest surprise is actually that most people don't know how to access these resources. First of all, finding cheap flights, they're out there and it just takes a little bit of work. And so I eliminate the time and work needed and just find them for you. But on top of that, I meet people every day who tell me, oh yeah, I use credit card points all the time. We fly, you know, a couple times here and there. And I went, no, wait a second. I use flights. I use points to pay for flights and hotels of 3 to 5 vacations a year. And I've created this system. I've kind of hacked the world to be able to say, how can I use points to pay for more? And that's the piece that most people are missing. They know how to occasionally get free flights, occasionally get these amazing deals, but I want to show you how to do it consistently, because that's how we travel. We're traveling internationally several times a year, domestically several times a year, and it is something so possible for most families.
That's fantastic to hear, and I know that the thousands of people watching us right now are eager to learn more about it. What really caught my eye, Ashleen, was the fact that this was all out of Memphis International Airport. It wasn't out of JFK or Atlanta or DFW. We are talking Memphis. And now you've kind of expanded to Nashville. Is that right?
I have, yeah. I mean, I'm here in Memphis, so it's my hometown. It's where I'm already looking for flights. And then slowly I've gotten more and more demand for BNA. But honestly, that really is the thing that sets me apart. If you ever learn about points or learn about cheap flights, most people are talking about LAX, JFK, sometimes Atlanta. And I go, that's great for those people, but what about for the people who live everywhere else? What about us here in Memphis? And so I wanted to create a resource that was available to us, a resource that made it easy to access cheap or free flights. And so that's my goal. I really wanted to hyper focus in on the place that means the most to me.
That's awesome. I love it. And I understand you do this not just for individuals or couples, you do this for entire families. Can you break down can people just go to your website, or can they just follow you on Instagram to figure this all out? I know you have several tiers. Explain that to our audience.
Yeah, so I'm on Instagram, Facebook, but 901flights.com has everything all in one place. On 901flights.com, you'll find where you can get cheap flight alerts. It's just a yearly membership. And then I offer an upgrade that if you want cheap flights and point alerts, so I find point deals from Memphis to all over the world, paying 60% less for every time you fly. Then on top of that, I offer education. So I actually take a personalized, customized approach that rather than just spewing information at you, I say, okay, let's focus in and you tell me about your goals, your ideal year of travel, tell me about your spending habits, your credit score, and I create everything for you and I create a plan for you to be able to build up points quickly and consistently so that you're never running out, but that this is all built around you and around your lifestyle. So it's exactly what you like. I find a lot of people open the wrong cards or start building points for the wrong area. And this is to hyper focus it and help you to get to your goals a lot faster. So I offer a few different ways to work with me, which can all be found on 901flights.com.
Can you give us some examples of some of the deals that you've flown on and you've gotten for others?
Yeah, cash deals. I have flown to Europe several times for $500. I think I did Ireland for $450. And these are round trip prices. This is not one way, round trip. And I'm consistently sending people to do that. I've also flown to the Caribbean for, I think it was about $280 round trip. That was to St. Thomas, US Virgin Islands. Then with point deals, this is what makes it incredible, is that you're only paying for a very small fee for taxes. And so you can fly to Hawaii and back for $12. You can fly to Japan for $56. You can fly to all over Europe for under $100. And it's just severely cutting back the cost and making your budget to go that much further.
So let me just make sure we didn't have a hiccup in that Zoom interview here, Aisling. You said to fly from Memphis to Japan for $50? Come on now.
This is round trip, $50. And again, this is with points that you're able to supplement it with points. So you're just paying the taxes. But yes, this is what I do consistently every year, that I'm never paying more than just the taxes on my flights. And then for hotels, which I help people book as well, you're paying nothing, like no taxes, no fees. That an entire trip to Japan round trip could be $56. Yeah.
Wow. That is incredible. Where do people, before we let you go, where do people make the biggest mistakes in your opinion?
With points, I would actually say it is that a lot of people try to patch together free advice that they find online. And the problem is that when you're finding advice made for people online, it's made for like 700,000 people. It's not really customized to each individual person. And so that's actually how I started. And it ended up costing me years of trying to patch this together and make it work. With following this generic advice online, you're going to get generic results. You're not going to be able to reach your goals as fast. You're going to be patching it together. And so what I find is most people feel like they can go out and do this. It honestly can be oversimplified online, saying you just open 1 million credit cards. And I'm here to tell you that that's not true. It doesn't have to be 1 million credit cards. It doesn't have to be that you're piecing it together, but that it can be something that's streamlined and you could be traveling for free within 3 months. That this is something that can be happening now, not way down the road.
I love it. This is music to my ears, and I'm sure the thousands of people who are watching right now. Aisling Woolley, we appreciate you coming on the digital desk. 901flights.com. Check it out right now. and you could be flying to Japan for $50 round trip. Ashley, thank you so much. It's a pleasure meeting you. I appreciate your time on the Digital Desk.
Great to meet you.
Good to meet you. Good morning. Welcome back to the Action News 5 Digital Desk. You know, we're coming towards the end of the season where the sun has been shining brightly, and so many of us have gone on summer vacations or have spent time at the pool, at the lake, at the beach. It's always a good idea to do a mole check from time to time and maybe, you know, figure out the best methods, the best ways to check to make sure that all your moles and there's no skin cancer, that sort of thing, because, you know, the sun can do a lot of damage very quickly. Joining me on the Action News 5 Digital Desk, we got Martin Fleming, doctor at Region 1 Health, also someone who is the division chief for surgical oncology at UT Health Science Center. Glad to have you back, Martin. I appreciate it. So where do we go? Where do we begin if we want to check for moles ourselves? Good morning.
Good morning, and thank you for having me. And yeah, we're toward the end of summer, but we're not toward the end of sun yet. We're, you know, how we are in Memphis, it's sunny till late October. So kind of bear in mind that people get more sun than they realize in the fall sometimes. You know, moles and freckles are things that are really common, especially on fair complected people. And so they can change over time, and they do need to be monitored. The tricky part is sometimes they're on parts of our body that you can't see regularly. So it takes a little gymnastics and more than one mirror to see your own back and the backs of your legs and things like that. So I really would recommend, you know, once a year checkup with a dermatologist or your primary care doctor, where they get you completely undressed. They're not shy. They'll look you over head to toe and check out any moles or freckles for any evidence that they could be something worrisome. Things that we teach people all the time to look for are, we call it the ABCs of melanoma. The reason we were concerned about moles and freckles is they can turn into bad cancers that can be life-threatening. About 11 to 12,000 people every year in the United States die of melanoma, and most often it's driven by a mole or a freckle with a lot of sun exposure that changes over time. So things we tell people are the ABCs, and that just helps us remember it. A is for asymmetry. A mole or a freckle that has kind of a funny shape. It's not round, it's not oval. Some people describe it as looking like a map or an animal or something, so they have a weird shape to them. B is for border irregularity, meaning the edge of the mole or freckle, the edge of the pigment doesn't have a clean stop. It kind of feathers out into the normal tissue around it. C is for color variation, meaning it's not just brown or tan. It might be brown and black and blue or pink or red, kind of all mixed in the lesion. And then D is for diameter. It just means a mole that's more than about 5 or 6 millimeters. Just a good reference point is a pencil eraser. Something that's bigger than that might need to be evaluated. And then E, we use the term evolution, meaning anything that's changing. So A, B, C, D, E, people that have lots of moles and freckles may have very large moles and freckles, but they've been there for 20 years and they haven't changed and they're fine. So that doesn't necessarily mean that any one of these things is an indication of cancer, but those are all things that could be a hint that something needs to be checked on or biopsied in the office.
Listen, I appreciate that, Martin. That was very thorough. I want to ask you this because I often get the question, and that is, could there be cancerous moles where you might not necessarily have exposed skin? Does that happen often?
It happens less often than the sun exposure versions, but it certainly can happen. And there's actually a subtype of melanoma that happens uniquely on people, the palms of your hands or the soles of your feet, which obviously rarely get sun. So it can happen anywhere. So just because it's not a sun exposed area doesn't mean that it doesn't need to be evaluated if you sense it's changing or looking unusual.
So how do we treat melanoma? Let's say worst case scenario, we get our mole checked out and they do tests, it's melanoma. How does that treatment go?
Yeah, it usually starts with an outpatient surgery, a fairly simple surgical procedure just to remove it. If it's been biopsied, proven melanoma, there's a lot that depends on how early it was caught. And the thing that we look at most is the depth of the melanoma. It starts on the surface, and as it grows, it gets deeper and deeper. So there's actually a measured depth. The pathologist takes a ruler under the microscope and measures from the top of the lesion to the bottom of the lesion. And that depth drives what we recommend. We don't know how to prevent them from happening, but we do know that if they happen very early, and we found them very early when they're very, very thin, it's a nuisance, it's a hassle, it might be a little outpatient surgery procedure, but they're not dangerous. So early detection is really important, and it usually the intervention starts with an outpatient surgery procedure. If it's a deeper or more aggressive melanoma or any evidence of spread, sometimes we check lymph nodes to see if melanomas have moved to the lymph nodes. Then that moves us into a different category of treatment that also involves medical treatments called immunotherapy, sometimes radiation, and bigger operations.
It seems like most cancers, and correct me if I'm wrong, most cancers, the earlier you get it, the better the survival rate is. If everything being equal, apples to apples, how dangerous is getting melanoma?
Well, there are real common skin cancers called basal cells and squamous cells that are very common. They're the most common cancers out there. They're taken care of in primary care offices and dermatology offices all the time. Those are very low risk. Melanoma is a different cancer, and it can be very high risk. And so in the spectrum of cancers, it's something to be taken very seriously.
Where do people make the biggest mistakes, Martin?
Probably, it starts when we're kids. Our sun exposure starts the first time you're out in the sun, and it accumulates over time. And I tell patients all the time, you can't take back your childhood. It is what it is. But as you have your own children and you're bringing them up and they're outside in the summertime, sunscreen and protection from the sun, especially if they're fair complected, blonde hair, red hair, blue eyes. We all know those kids that we grew up with that just couldn't tolerate the sun. Those need to be protected along the way. And that prevention when they're young provides some protection when they're older. And then people, you get outside and you think, oh, it's not going to be that sunny. And then 6 hours later, you realize you've gotten a sunburn. Just be cautious, use sunscreen, and hats are always great. Men always forget the tops of their ears. They wear ball caps a lot, so they get no sun on their face, but the tops of their ears get a lot of sun. And that could be a place where we see melanoma as well.
Anything else before we let you go that you want to touch on with regards to?
No, just sunscreen. It works. I have the fortunate opportunity to do some surgical care in other parts of the world. My skin's not made to be at the equator, but I can go to the equator in Africa and the Philippines for more than a week at a time. And if I wear SPF 100 sunscreen, it's like I've never been. It really works. It blocks the sun. The higher the SPF number, the more sun protection you'll get. And I just really encourage people to use it liberally, and then each year replace it because its efficacy wears down over time. So if it's been sitting in your closet for 3 years, when you pull it out, it may not protect you as much as you think.
The minimum, I always hear SPF 30 as a minimum. Is that Is your
Yeah,
thought?
it can confuse people because, I jokingly tell people, a little bit of a bad thing is still a bad thing. So, I'm kind of an advocate that, we should all be white and pasty if we can and not get any sun. But the protection is not linear. In other words, SPF 50 covers pretty much 90% of the sun. You get above 50 and you're not getting twice as much protection, but you're getting more protection. So 30 hits at about 75% protection. So 15 is about 50% protection. So it's just a matter of how much sun do you want to have. And in my world, 0 is the answer. So I just tell people the higher the number you can find, use it.
Gotcha. Well, Dr. Martin Fleming joining us here on the Action News 5 Digital Desk. Thank you for the insight with regards to moles and skin cancer and best practices, best methods to prevent melanoma or any kind of skin cancer from happening. We appreciate your time. Thank you.
No, thank you for having me. It's always a pleasure.
Thanks for joining us here on the Action News 5 Digital Desk here on a Thursday morning, which features another air quality alert, a code orange. Unhealthy for some, doesn't mean for all, but understand it's not just going to be for the metro area. It really does extend itself across much of the Action News 5 coverage area. We're still in this very stagnant air mass that has been kind of brought in with some wildfire smoke from the west and Canada. That coupled with not a lot of wind to blow it around and just our daily carbon monoxide and dioxide emissions here across the Mid-South, well, that's adding to some issues. So that's going to be a problem for us again here today, but there could be some help on the way by way of a front approaching us to help to kind of scour things out just a little bit. Temperatures will top out in the middle 90s here today, actually nearing a record high today, 99 set back in 2019. Feels like temperatures will approach 100. So again, while we have been hotter, I just want to remind you that this is atypical for this time of the year. We're running about 10 degrees above average for this time of the year. So a reminder to drink plenty of hydrating fluids, wear light, loose-fitting clothing, breaks in the shade or indoors, and of course checking in on groups of folks who may not have adequate access to cooling relief. And even with the front on the move, we'll start to see a little dip in temperatures back to the lower 90s, still above average for this time of the year as we head through Friday and Saturday. But you do notice a couple of more chances for rain coming in our direction, which we desperately need. There may be more in the extended range as we head into the next, say, 7 to 10 days across the region. Let's take a look at our first alert futurecast. And again, we're going to start this off now on Friday. So today should be carbon copy of what you saw yesterday. Tomorrow we'll start off with a few clouds, becoming mostly cloudy for a period and a chance for some showers and thunderstorms to erupt. Now, understand there may be a few storms that get a little feisty, some gusty winds, frequent lightning type of situation, maybe some small hail, not completely off of the table here for Friday afternoon and early evening hours. But this could have some implications for Friday football fever games here across the Mid-South. If it's not actively raining at 7 o'clock, 6 o'clock, whenever the games begin here across the region, it may be a wet field that could be impacting you. So that's something else that we'll be watching through the course of the day. Temperatures will ease their way from the 90s back through the 60s to start off early on Saturday morning. Lots of stuff going on this upcoming weekend here across the Mid-South. We've got the Mid-South Balloon Festival in Rossville. We've got the Broom Corn Festival over in Selmer. We've got Memphis Tigers at home, Ole Miss Rebels at home. We've got the Runway 5K at the Memphis International Airport. That will be happening Saturday morning. So I think the weather should cooperate for the most part, but we get towards 2, 3 o'clock in the afternoon on Saturday, there could be a few isolated spotty downpours developing amid a mixture of clouds and sunshine. Yes, in the low 90s we go. Speaking of the Memphis Tigers going up against the Arkansas Razorbacks, taking the road trip down here to the city of Memphis after a road trip to Oxford last weekend. We'll see how this one plays out. 11 a.m. kickoff over at Simmons Bank Liberty Stadium. Temperatures will ease their way up to the low 90s, partly sunny skies, and an afternoon shower can't be ruled out. At 2:30, the kickoff for the Ole Miss Rebels in the Tulane Green Wave. Low 90s also, partly cloudy skies. Can't rule it out that there could be a shower. I think maybe a slightly lower chance in North Mississippi on Saturday afternoon comparatively to maybe West Tennessee and Eastern Arkansas. I do want to give you a first alert, though, as we head through the upcoming weekend. I think we get through this period fairly quiet. There's a little nudge of warmer air trying to build in our direction for Saturday into Sunday, but that will be short-lived. There's a big area of low pressure off to the north that will be dropping in, and that was what is going to help to facilitate a drop in temperatures, more clouds, and better chances for rain, hopefully, as that upper low pivots in our direction, so that we'll have at least some chances for rain coming back into the fold as we head through the coming days. In the meantime, though, again, fairly quiet for us here today. 96 nearing a record high, 92 tomorrow as well as Saturday and Sunday. A mixture of clouds and sunshine through the weekend. Again, a slightly better chance for a few afternoon showers and storms on Friday. A few spotty opportunities on Saturday and Sunday. Pick back up another rain chance as we head towards Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday of next week, possibly even Thursday, Friday, just depending on how long this upper low gets cut off from the main flow pattern. And as that happens, typically these orphan lows, they bring us more clouds, cooler temperatures, and the occasional opportunity for some showers. Maybe not a lot, but something that will get us along as we head into the first week of fall, as fall officially begins 1:19 in the afternoon on Monday afternoon.
Good morning, everyone. Welcome back to the Action News 5 Digital Desk. Many of us have food allergies. Perhaps we have family members that have them as well. On the Action News 5 Digital Desk, I want to welcome in two people here. We have Colin Hood and his mother, Christine. Colin was diagnosed with 15 different severe food allergies, and navigating that kind of challenge is got to be so difficult, a lot of obstacles there. Good morning to you both. Colin, talk to us about the kind of food allergies you have and your best methods or practices for navigating any restaurant or school cafeteria. Good morning.
So as I grew up with all my food allergies, it's been, as you can probably imagine, very difficult to deal with. But as I've gotten older, there have been new ways to treat it, such as Neffy, which is a nasal epinephrine that you inject through the nose instead of a needle, like in the leg. And when I was younger, I was very needle phobic, which made it a lot harder to deal with allergies because knowing that the one thing that could save you, you were kind of scared of, made especially my mom very nervous. But now that I've been getting older, it's been much easier to manage.
That's great news. I'm happy to hear. Christine, as a parent, talk to me about what it was like. How was Colin diagnosed with all these food allergies, and what did you do to protect his safety and well-being?
Great question. So I had him, and the first time I nursed him in the hospital, he actually his face swelled up. And at first they thought it was a clogged tear duct, and they kept taking him back to the nursery, and it happened again and again and again. Eventually we figured out, I mean, by 5-6 months old, he was diagnosed with 10 different food allergies. We're up to 17 now. So it was terrifying. I didn't know anybody else with food allergies, let alone this many. We've formed a great community, but keeping him safe is number one. So making sure that he has epinephrine available, that his babysitters, teachers, coaches, everybody had them, keeping the foods away. That's really the best we can do. But in the event of a severe allergic reaction, epinephrine's the only way. So having Neffy has been so big for us because he remembers it. He's not afraid to use it. And with a slight side effect of maybe, runny nose, headache, or some nasal discomfort, that's a small price for the only drug that can stop a severe allergic reaction. So that's really big deal. And I hope other parents with food allergies, that's the most important thing, is to carry your epinephrine at all times.
So Colin, talk to me about your school experience. I mean, has the food allergies stopped you at all from doing things you want to do?
I wouldn't say it stopped me, but it has made things much more difficult. So especially with sports and hanging out with friends, it's been a little difficult, especially when food's a part of it, because in high school, food is kind of a part of everything with how much teens eat. And especially in sports, like on buses, it could be very difficult to deal with other kids, especially because they're a little bit less accepting than adults are with information. So my good friends who are some of them aren't in sports with me help with the everyday stuff. So that's good for me.
Have you ever had an emergency where you've had to use Neffy? And tell me how that went.
He's not yet had to use Neffy, but he's had several anaphylactic episodes where he needed epinephrine. He's had one at school. He's had one at home. He's had them from takeout foods. So we've had to administer, but not yet, because Neffy's pretty new. We've not yet had to administer Neffy, but I have all the confidence that it has the ability to stop anaphylaxis the same way as any other epinephrine.
Anything else you want our audience to know? We have thousands of people who watch on the Action News 5 digital desk every morning. I open it up to both of you. Anything else you want to mention before we let you go?
Yeah, I'd just like to say that with back to school season, there's so much out there. Talk to your teachers. Make sure that your school nurses and administrators have policies and procedures in place. There's a new expert recommendations out by the CDC called Food Allergy Management in Schools Expert Recommendations. And they are like a checklist of how to keep people safe and, more importantly, included in activities. So be ready, stock your epinephrine, make sure you have your Neffy, and have your action plans in place, and you can go back to school. So go to Neffy.com or your healthcare provider, and they can make sure you have everything you need so that you can be safe and included at school. And hand sanitizer does not work at removing food proteins. Hand washing is the best thing you can do, or hand wipes.
That's good advice there, Christine. Colin, what would you say to another student that perhaps is dealing with food allergies at school and with their friends?
Safety always comes first, so always put yourself before others. I know that might sound a little bit selfish, but with allergies, you really have to make sure you're safe. And if you're as diligent as possible and you take caution in social scenarios, you'll be fine.
All right. Well, Colin and Christine, thank you so much for joining us on the digital desk. We appreciate your time. Thank you. Very valuable information you passed along. We appreciate it.
Thank you so much.
Welcome back to the Action News 5 Digital Desk. I'm Patrick Ellis. Let's get to some of the news headlines for the day ahead, my friends, because we've got a lot going on here. As far as what's going on down in Cleveland, Mississippi, police in that small town continue to investigate the death of a black student at Delta State University after he was found hanging from a tree. Trey Reed was found around 7:30 Monday morning. Investigators say there is video related to the incident, but they are not saying much about what the video shows. The Bolivar County coroner says the actual incident happened sometime Sunday, but police are saying who discovered Reed's body or how the 21-year-old got on the tree. Reed's uncle says that his nephew was taken far too soon. The coroner is not ruling out the death as a homicide nor suicide, but a death investigation. He says more information will be revealed once the autopsy is confirmed. Civil rights attorney, let's see here. There we go. Civil rights attorney Ben Crump, who represents Reed's family, is calling for the video to be released. He said in part, quote, by demanding the family be allowed to view any video and commissioning an independent autopsy, we are taking every step to uncover the truth about what happened to Trey. Memphis City Council members plan to propose a resolution urging Governor Bill Lee to stop National Guard troops from coming to Memphis. Council members will share this resolution this morning. Then the vote will happen during today's council meeting. Councilwoman Jerry Green, who's also running for Tennessee governor in 2026, says it takes away from efforts to end poverty. She says decisions about Memphis should be made with us, not forced upon us by politicians who never walked our streets. I stand ready to reject any attempts to undermine our democracy. The Memphis Fire Department has extinguished a warehouse fire near the Memphis International Airport. Here's video from the scene from East Brooks Road and Carrier Street from last night. We've reached out to MFD to see what caused the fire, and we'll let you know on actionnews5.com and the Action News 5 app as we learn more. Looking ahead, Memphis Shelby County Schools is launching a new gun safety curriculum this month, now required under Tennessee law. As part of the rollout, MSCS will host 2 community forums. The first, the virtual family forum on firearm safety, is this afternoon at 5:30 p.m. Parents and guardians can join to learn more about the curriculum, take part in the discussion, and see a safe storage demonstration put on by law enforcement. Longtime Memphis TV news and sports anchor Les Smith has died after battling lung cancer. Smith worked here at WMC Action News 5 from 1983 to 1985 and has even worked at every single TV news operation here in Memphis. Les Smith was 75 years old. Kroger and first responders are teaming up to support the Mid-South Food Bank. Heroes Fight Hunger happens today from 3 to 7 at the Kroger at Poplar Plaza. That's on the corner of Poplar and Highland. Shoppers will get a list of the 5 most needed items: pasta, canned veggies, meat, soups, and fruit, which they can purchase, then donate to one of the agencies in the parking lot. Coming up here in just a couple seconds, we'll come back to break here in just a few seconds here on Action News 5's Digital Desk. Time right now is 10:52. Welcome back to the Action News 5 Digital Desk. Time right now is 10:54. We're coming up on the midday show here on Action News 5. We'll start that at 11 o'clock with Jerry Askin and Ariana Poindexter. For myself, Taylor Tucker, and Sydney Gray. And Ariana Poindexter, apparently she was on here as well today. We're all learning here on the Action News 5 Digital Desk. And of course, we will send you over there to the midday show. Starts at 11 o'clock. Of course, we'll have the latest news and weather headlines with them, and as well as First Alert meteorologist Riley Winch. Have yourself a great Thursday and stay safe out there. We'll have more updates coming up throughout the day.